If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description. Additionally, if you would like to request novels and access my Google Drive where I have 200 plus audiobooks, then you can join my Patreon. Link is also provided in the description.
Chapter 241, Evergreen Immortal Physique. Watching Yulong refine the evergreen tree's dew, the veiled young lady frowned slightly. Yulong clearly focused all his mind on refining the dew, but why did she feel something was off? Yulong was sweating profusely, but it was all an act. A swirl of air came from the sky poison pearl, making Yulong look like he was doing intense refinement. The evergreen tree's dew decreased in volume, but they could feel the purity and vitality increase. Even though the veiled young lady doubted Yulong's ability, the result speaks for itself. He's not bad. The veiled young lady thought. Unknown to her, Yulong slyly siphoned 40% of the evergreen tree's dew and stored it inside the sky poison pearl. Since this thing could grant an immortal physique, it is worth researching. A few moments before the finishing refinement, Yulong put on a pained expression and coughed awkwardly. "I'm sorry, I failed," he said while covering his mouth, to hold his wicked laughter from getting out. "What's the matter?" The veiled young lady frowned. Yulong sighed hopelessly. "I bragged that I could refine the dew with less than 30% loss. The truth is, well, my skill is a bit worse, and I made a 40% loss." The veiled young lady. She hesitated for a bit before saying, "Actually, I expected worse." "What?" Yulong was dazed. The veiled young lady squinted her cold eyes at Yulong and mercilessly added, "I didn't have expectations from your alchemy's skill. We are nothing but strangers, so I expected a 70% loss at the very least. 40% loss is acceptable. Your alchemy skill is definitely better than most master alchemists in the illusory demon realm. You surprised me, dead weight. Then, why are you still calling me that?" Yulong's mouth twitched slightly. "Is that so?" The veiled young lady indifferently said, "As we agreed on. I will give you half of the evergreen tree's dew." Seeing the veiled young lady this upright, Yulong couldn't help but feel bad for tricking her. Even then, Yulong kept his lips tight because he didn't want to create an unnecessary problem. Well, it wasn't Yulong's fault. This girl is looking down on him too much. At least she kept her part of the promise, unlike some women. Yulong picked a jade bottle from his spatial storage with a sealing array inside it. Using this to store the refined evergreen tree's dew would keep the quality at its peak. "Go on, take your portion." The veiled young lady waved her hand. Yulong awkwardly nodded, using his mental energy to move the dew into a jade bottle. The veiled young lady observed Yulong silently and said nothing about his performance. After taking half of the dew, Yulong sealed the jade bottle and walked to the other side of the hall. He stared at the jade bottle and smiled slightly, as this could be useful for many things. He sat on the floor and was curious to see what kind of constitution the evergreen immortal physique was. He already had an idea in mind but had to see the veiled young lady demonstrate it first. "I will be meditating to absorb the evergreen tree's dews. If I catch you doing indecent things in the meantime, I will kill you." The veiled young lady didn't forget to threaten Yulong's life. Yulong helplessly raised his arms, "I won't move an inch." The veiled young lady's threat makes her more adorable than anything. It's like a chihuahua, cute and fierce. The veiled young lady went to the other side of the hall, avoiding Yulong entirely. She sat down and brought the refined evergreen tree's dew into her nose. Instead of drinking it, she actually inhales the dew's scent to absorb the medicinal effect. Yulong was fascinated by this method but also found it logical. The evergreen tree's dew is too concentrated, so drinking it would cause one's body to explode from extreme activity. One's cells couldn't absorb too much life force, or they would die out faster. Inhaling it would make the absorption more efficient. Yulong observed the veiled young lady's body with Kaiju Maker and saw her cells evolving, brimming with life force. Green light coated her body, blood, bones, and skin. As I guessed. The evergreen immortal physique is a mutant body from my previous world. It allows one to have hyper-regeneration that causes one's body to regenerate from any damage that doesn't exceed cell division speed. Technically speaking, it is worthy to be called immortal physique. Of course, this is tied to one's soul power. Yulong couldn't help but shake his head in disappointment. If the soul is not powerful enough, the body's cell division won't last. The evergreen immortal physique would be an empty vessel. But there might be something more. It can't be a simple regeneration. Yulong has detected something extra in the evergreen tree's dew. The veiled young lady's blood rapidly evolved under Yulong's gaze, and a burst of golden flame suddenly ignited, wrapping her in fire. The golden flame is ferocious, increasing the room temperature instantly by just appearing. Yulong's lips curled slightly because the veiled young lady couldn't hide her identity from him anymore. Wait, why did her clothes burn? As the golden flame intensified, the veiled young lady's body became bare to Yulong's eyes. It was a feast. Yulong's soon-to-be wives are goddesses and fairies in terms of looks, but this young lady is honestly on par with them. Those tender yet indifferent facial features are attractive. Although her body is a bit underdeveloped, especially in the chest area, her snowy skin and thin waist are inviting to hug. They are pink. Yulong nodded in admiration. Cough. After looking at her respectfully for another 5 seconds, Yulong looked away and only monitored her changes through mental power. He couldn't tarnish his gentlemanly image. Too bad the image was already tarnished when Yulong engaged Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu. Yulong forgets he was a harem protagonist. 3 minutes later. The aloof young lady opened her cold eyes and glared at Yulong with killing intent. Although Yulong had moved his gaze and stared at the ceiling, she could feel his gaze earlier. She impatiently opened her spatial ring and wore a new pair of clothes, mainly a black dress, black stockings with gold lining, light shoes, and a new veil. "Die, you dirty peeping bastard!" she said while sending an energy blast at Yulong. Yulong supported his body with one hand and kicked the wall, dodging the energy blast. All those moves were done casually, by the way. "Whoa, calm down. Why did you attack me? I say I won't move an inch." Yulong cast her a teasing smile. The veiled young lady clenched her hand. "You have seen this empress's bare body. You deserve to die." "That's harsh." Yulong chuckled. He rubbed his nose because he didn't see much. "Just a little, you know?" The veiled young lady burst with the power of sovereign profound realm expert, causing the hall to shake violently. Green light flickered around her body, shaping her into a feminine figure with butterfly wings. She gave off a suffocating empress-like aura and vowed, "Today. If I didn't take your lowly life with my very own hands, then I'm not the little demon empress." Chapter 242, Elemental Spirit and C-Rex. "Today. If I didn't take your lowly life with my very own hands, then I'm not the little demon empress." A hateful scream reverberated in the hollow hall. The little demon empress was furious. Meanwhile, Yulong blinked in pure amazement at the sight of the little demon empress. That fairy-like silhouette behind her is familiar to him. No wonder Yulong felt there was something extra in the evergreen tree's dew. Elemental Spirit. Elemental Spirit was part of the Kaiju's descendant Yulong derived in his previous life. They are birthed with different elements, and from the look of it, the little demon empress gained the approval of Wind Elemental Spirit. Seeing the Elemental Spirit doesn't make Yulong happy, though. His previous guess about what originated the demonic star secret realm might be accurate. A grave danger will befall the illusory demon realm. Powered by the violent wind, little demon empress stretched her slender fingers and summoned a wisp of golden flame. The attack she was about to unleash is definitely a killing technique. The golden flame revolved by the wind and shot at Yulong like a fiery cannonball. Swoosh! A sizzling and whistling sound comes from the fireball. Damn! Even this girl's mastery over wind elemental is excellent, Yulong thought amidst the chaos, impressed by little demon emperor's skill in using wind elemental's power. Creak! Suddenly, the hall changed. The wall near Yulong descended, revealing a tunnel. Yulong disappeared into the tunnel without further ado and left the little demon empress alone. He could little demon empress's frustrated groan as she chased after him with intent to kill. However, how could a mere monarch-level expert chase after Yulong? Little demon empress might be an outstanding monarch-level expert who gained the strong approval of wind elemental spirit, but she is still weaker compared to Yulong. Bye, bye. Yulong's teasing voice echoed in the tunnel. Little demon empress froze on the spot. Yulong vanished from her sight and didn't even leave a cloud of dust behind. Even though the tunnel is dark, it's not to the point where she can't see anything, yet Yulong still escapes her senses. Such a profound movement technique. She mumbled solemnly. Just who is he? Since when did the illusory demon realm have a person like him? Many questions flashed in the little demon empress's little head. At last, she could only sigh. You can run, but you can't hide. She gazed at the darkness. This empress will judge you to death. After saying that, little demon empress glanced at the wind elemental and examined it with great interest. As expected, Entering the demonic star secret realm is a good judgment. I've just entered and already obtained the evergreen trees dew. What kind of treasures could I get if I reached Dead Star Lake and Star River? Little Demon Empress has hope in her miserable life for the first time in over a century. Something she knew very little about due to her family's tragedy. Yulong exited the tunnel and found himself falling from the sky. What the? He was actually jumping straight off the cliff. On top of that, Yulong also couldn't fly using the profound floating technique due to the demonic star secret realm's natural order. It was bizarre. The atmosphere wasn't working alongside the profound energy. Since Yulong couldn't use the profound floating technique in this secret realm, he could only use wings. 2 pairs of beautiful, red flame wings sprouted from Yulong's back. They were skillfully made from the modified world ode of the phoenix. Yulong could have created real wings using his ability, but that would have been too much effort for this minor inconvenience. He also wanted to test something, enveloping the fiery wings with the power of lightning. ZZT. SSSSH. Sizzling and electro sounds come from the wings. The golden electricity merged with red wings, giving them a solid bone-like structure for better stability. Good, it's working. Yulong smiled in satisfaction. He didn't mind using the explosive trait of the fire element, but nothing beat the speed of lightning. Combining both traits would complement Yulong's movement set even more. After achieving this small success, Yulong's figure blurred and zoomed several kilometers away. Little Demon Empress exited the tunnel and was too late to catch Yulong. Yulong flapped his wings and observed the secret realm's territory from the sky. This place is way bigger than he thought. It seems the space in this secret realm didn't just warp. Yulong believed the space is actually stretched. The process is the opposite of a space folding array, making 2 points longer than they should have been. He landed on another mountain and heard the sound of fighting. He hid behind a rock and gauged the situation. On a flat land between 2 mountains, Yulong spotted the Heavenly King of Tempest fighting against a 15-meter-tall Tyrannosaurus. Yup, T-Rex. And this is not your ordinary T-Rex. The T-Rex has dark red scales with blue, bony plates along its back and a cream-colored underside. It has a massive, sword-like tail and powerful hind legs. Its arms are tiny and useless in combat, and its face and jaws resemble a Carnotaurus, like a plated helmet. Both gigantic beasts fired and attacked each other. One is throwing an intense tornado. And the other is slashing its tail non-stop, launching fiery slashes. The mountain areas are on the verge of breaking apart already. Yulong stared at the T-Rex and said, Clamosaurus, otherwise known as C-Rex, this is a surprise. Who would have thought a profound beast could get its hand on the C-Rex's essence sphere and absorb the genes enough to evolve into one? This fellow is hard to fight in my previous world. And this one is a juvenile. Even then, it is qualified to become a dragon. Yet I doubt it has developed intelligence. Yulong stared at the C-Rex's small arms and shook his head because such a good gene always had a weakness. Well, it could still grow and evolve into Alpha C-Rex. He leaned against a solid rock and watched Tempest fighting the C-Rex fiercely, yawning occasionally. 3 minutes later, Tempest sent C-Rex to the mountain and made it whimper in pain. Annoying little shit. Tempest was annoyed. If C-Rex didn't have that annoying sword-like tail, she could have won faster. Clap, clap. Yulong clapped for Tempest and praised, good job, Tempest. I know you won't lose. Gee Godmaster. Tempest was surprised to find Yulong this fast. She was delighted. We finally met again. Yulong nodded, The secret realm separates people from their own group. It never happened in the previous opening. I saw you're having a tough time fighting this little fellow. Well. Tempest awkwardly looked away. Sword-tailed dragon is always difficult to fight. I'm lucky that this was only a young one. An adult sword-tailed dragon would make me run for my money. Yulong chuckled, you might regret saying that. Pardon. What do you mean? Tempest was confused. Swoosh. Boom. Before Tempest could react, the 2 mountains near them split in half. The mountains got sliced in the middle, revealing a burning flat surface like a furnished table. Tempest's eyes widened in fear as she looked up and saw a 150-meter-tall sword-tailed dragon or C-Rex. Fuck. We are dead. We are really dead. The green bird cursed. Yulong stared at the adult C-Rex and commented, 150 meters. That is a record, for sure. Usually, a mature C-Rex is only 100 meters tall. The sword-like tail alone is over 50 meters. This one is mutated. Roar. The massive beast is roaring at them angrily. And it's a female, too. Yulong added calmly. Probably the mother of this juvenile C-Rex. Hee. I'm lucky to find another research material. Chapter 243, Taming C-Rex. Clamosaurus. They are one of the apex predators in Yulong's previous world. Each of them could decimate a city, leaving nothing but ruin behind. Yulong gazed at the literal giant before him and said pleasantly, such a good research subject. An ordinary C-Rex wouldn't catch my attention. But a mutated one? They are as rare as a needle in a pile of haze. Thinking about the preciousness of the mutated C-Rex, Yulong couldn't bear to kill it. A rare and extinct beast like this must be carefully nurtured to yield gene results. Above all else, Yulong noticed that the mutated C-Rex used the sword-like tail with an energy coat, which means it had adapted to primal chaos dimensions pressure. Yulong fought against Alpha C-Rex once in his previous life. That Alpha C-Rex is a monster capable of mass destruction by aimlessly swinging his sword-like tail around. One bad mood and a mountain would go from the map. This mutated C-Rex is no different. No, this mutated C-Rex is probably more aggressive and dangerous than Alpha C-Rex. The scale of the world is just too different. Yulong observed, searching for more changes in the mutated C-Rex if there were any. Unfortunately, apart from the scale-plated armor and a larger sword-like tail, he couldn't find any significant changes. C-Rex was really driven mad because her son got injured by two tiny creatures. Tempest might be a larger bird, but her size is still smaller than the mutated C-Rex. The mutated C-Rex is akin to a mountain, literally. As Yulong was deep in his thoughts, the mutated C-Rex swayed her sword-like tail and snapped the air. A screeching sound echoed, and a fiery energy slash fired at them. Tempest hurriedly created a tornado to deflect the energy slash, yet it got slashed through. Yulong pulled the golden bone knife from his pocket and slashed the air gently, shifting the air. Concentrated pyroelectro energy blasted and clashed with C-Rex's energy slash. Two arcs met in the air. Boom! Tempest's eyes widened because the energy magnitude exceeded that of the peak monarch level fight. Like fireworks, the energy slashes exploded and sprayed sizzling lava everywhere. The surrounding area has turned into chaotic lava land. Yulong kicked the ground and soared toward the C-Rex. They stared at each other and launched themselves forward. The sword-like tail burst out with a threatening red aura, igniting the air around it. C-Rex really gives off a deadly predator vibe. On the other hand, Yulong is calm. There is no special aura or burning air around him. It's just him and the golden bone knife. Roar! Violent sword storms appeared, charging at Yulong. Yulong's golden eyes flashed with contempt because the sword storms were easy to read. He injected fire and lightning elements into the golden bone knife, causing it to grow an energy blade by a few feet. In a flash, a knife has become a heavy sword. Heavenly Wolf God Series, First Sword, Heavenly. Yulong swung the energized heavy sword with pure raw strength and shifted the air, expanding it rapidly into that of an air cannon. Boom! The air cannon met with the violent sword storms, creating a sphere of destruction mid-air. The surrounding area is getting ruined beyond recognition. Amazing! Tempest couldn't believe her eyes. The sword-tailed dragon is a divine beast in the demonic star secret realm, and each is known for their extreme strength. Yet Yulong could exchange moves with the adult sword-tailed dragon easily. He didn't even break a single sweat. The mutated C-Rex blinked her eyes in awe. A human could repel her sword storm? It is unbelievable. As the sword storm cleared out, Yulong kicked the air and swung his heavy sword again. It was the same technique, but the mutated C-Rex felt dread from it. Once Yulong fully swung the heavy sword, air pressure filled in and caught C-Rex with a shockwave. The surging shockwave is too much, even for the 150-meter-tall mutated C-Rex. Boom! Fuck! Tempest watched the frightening sword-tailed dragon get sent flying like a ragdoll. Yulong didn't stop and kicked the air to appear above the stumbling C-Rex. He wanted to bully her a bit more. Of course, it wouldn't be so easy. The C-Rex stabbed the ground with her tail, causing the land to split into a ravine. She bounced upward and spun swiftly, becoming a rotating saw with a fiery blade. Zzzt. She-ing. Roar. The mutated C-Rex roared, and the fiery blade became more intense. Watching the fiery saw coming toward himself, Yulong couldn't help but laugh because this attack would kill anyone below the divine realm. Heck! Even an early-stage divine origin realm might not survive. Unfortunately, Sirex's opponent is Yulong. Yulong pressed his thumb on the heavy sword and injected more energy to make it heavier. Lifting the heavy sword, he swung it down slowly and shot out an energy projectile. However, it wasn't an ordinary energy projectile. Heavenly Wolf God Series, Second Sword, Wolf. Aayuuyuyuyu. The energy projectile morphed into a white wolf with sharp fangs. The white wolf bit the fiery saw and tackled it to the ground, causing a rupture in the 5-kilometer radius. Boom! A pillar of white light rose to the sky, clearing the clouds. As the light cleared, Yulong could see the injured and fainted Sirex in a hole. He smirked and slowly descended to the ferocious beast, landing on her head. To Yulong's surprise, the juvenile Sirex appeared out of nowhere and slashed its tail at him. Yulong chuckled as he casually slapped the sword-like tail away. "Don't worry. I won't kill your mom. See, I'm healing her right now." Yulong returned the heavy sword to the golden bone knife and cast a light-based recovery technique on the mutated Sirex. The small Sirex groaned at Yulong and then licked its mother's injured body gently. But from the look of it, the mutated Sirex won't be awake anytime soon. Yulong lowered his left hand and was ready to store the injured beast in Sky Poison Pearl. "Hey, I will put your mom in a safer place. In the meantime, you must follow me." The juvenile Sirex hesitated after hearing Yulong's words. Although it hasn't developed enough intelligence, it is smart enough to understand Yulong's intention. In the end, the young beast nodded. After all, Yulong is much stronger than its mother. Yulong stored the injured beast in the Sky Poison Pearl and rode the young Sirex to the surface. Tempest has been waiting, flapping her feathery wings anxiously. "Godmaster, you're fine." Tempest was happy when seeing Yulong in one piece. Yulong's mouth twitched. "What do you mean by I'm fine? Did you expect me to die or something?" So, what's with this fellow?" Tempest diverted the topic to the young Sirex. Yulong snorted at her. "My little friend. I don't have a name for him yet." "Rrrr." The young Sirex groaned at Yulong. "Oh, you are a girl, dot." Yulong let out a chuckle. "Well, let's give you a name then, princess." What about little sword?" "Rrrr." The young Sirex groaned again as if demanding a cuter name. "Ungrateful little shit," Tempest thought. She would be happy to get a new name from Yulong. Yulong helplessly sighed and thought deeply for 5 seconds before saying, "Is Camilla acceptable?" The young Sirex pondered and then nodded. "Okay, that was easier than I thought." Yulong rubbed Camilla's head gently. "Let's explore the demonic star secret realm together now." After that, the three of them traveled across a vast plain. They saw a large body of water but frowned because there were multiple presences in that area. "Rar." Camilla nudged Yulong with her tail gently. Yulong understood Camilla's thought and whispered in surprise, "Really? You said there is a treasure ahead." "Rrrr." The young beast nodded excitedly. Tempest, do take a little peek for me." Yulong ordered the green bird. "Right away, Godmaster." Tempest flapped her wings and ascended to a higher altitude. Chapter 244, A Conflict by the Golden Lake. 5 minutes later. Tempest returned with an intel. Several ferocious beasts like T-Rex and 2 heavenly kings fought over a soon-to-be blooming treasure at the body of water ahead. Apparently, it was a golden blue-colored lotus. Camilla's eyes lit up and purred excitedly, telling Yulong that the golden blue-colored lotus was the treasure she meant. "Do you know what kind of treasure this lotus is?" Yulong asked Tempest because he never heard of such treasure, even in the Miracle of Life, Li Suo's legacy. Tempest shook her head bitterly. "No, Godmaster. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about this lotus. I'm a bit of a bird brain in this field." "Well, you're a bird," Yulong thought while thinking about something unimportant. So far, Yulong has gotten a feeling that the demonic star secret realm is unlike anything else he had seen in the primal chaos dimension, though he hasn't much outside the blue pole star. The secret realm has too many unknown things, exceeding Yulong's sea of knowledge. Watching this realm, he felt like it was a fusion between the primal chaos dimension and his previous life world. There is no mistake. Yulong could tell the ambience was there. Mutated creatures like Sirex, medicinal liquid similar to Geno potion, and everything. He mumbled solemnly. "Godmaster!" Tempest called Yulong, waking him up from the stupor. Yulong blinked and glanced at her. what's the matter? Tempest tilted her head in confusion. I'm asking what we should do next. Well, let's march forward. I want to get my hand on the golden blue lotus. Hearing Yu Long's answer, Tempest nodded in agreement. They couldn't miss their chances on such a sought-after treasure. If Tempest were alone, she wouldn't dare to join in such a deadly and fierce competition. But she had the God Master on her side. His power should be more than enough to wipe those wimpy fellows. Sirex growled and rushed forward with extreme speed, leaving behind Tempest. Wait for me. Tempest flapped her wings. At the massive body of water, the golden blue lotus absorbed sunlight and made the water glow in a shimmering yellow flush. It looks like a golden lake from afar, basking in mysterious glory. You said heavenly kings earlier. Who are they? Yu Long questioned while sitting above Camilla's head, undisturbed by her extremely fast movement. Tempest nodded and described, they were lower-ranked heavenly kings who just became part of the group 5 years ago. Although they are not strong, their abilities are annoying. One is rank 10, Heavenly King of Horror. A disgusting motherfucker who could manipulate her enemy's flesh and bones if the condition is right. And the other is rank 9, Heavenly King of Crow. No less disgusting bastard who could manipulate his enemy's mind and soul with ocular ability. I got caught by Crow's illusion once, and he molested me, even asking me to bear his children because we are both bird-type profound beasts. I will kill that shameless blackbird later. Language. Yu Long couldn't help but sigh. Tempest, we have a child with us right now. Fortunately, Camilla doesn't seem to care. She was solely focused on getting the treasure more than anything. Even then, Yu Long was interested in the Heavenly King of Horror and Heavenly King of Crow. They are strong, but their powers have yet to mature. Especially the Heavenly King of Horror. Yu Long believed she was a rare type spider called Queen Blade Spider. The power to manipulate flesh and bones is death-like, but Yu Long knew where it originated. It comes from quite a troublesome mutated creature. They arrived at the Golden Lake a minute later and realized it was bigger than expected. Surprisingly, this wasn't the Dead Star Lake. Tempest furrowed her brows. God Master, they are fighting. Yu Long gazed ahead and saw some beasts fighting against a 10-meter-tall black crow. The fight is weird because none of these beasts land a hit on the crow, attacking their fellow companions instead. Meanwhile, not far away, Yu Long also spotted mangled flesh and bones shaped like a golem. The flesh is squirming, and the bones are cracking. Disgusting. Tempest squinted her eyes. Even Camilla didn't like what she saw as she growled coldly, swiping her sword like to the rocky ground to sharpen it. Yu Long shook his head gently. The golem is not our problem. That is our problem. He pointed at the giant white spider with blade-like legs. The spider hid within a pile of bones, camouflaging. But how could the spider hide from Yu Long's eyes? Tempest looked down. God Master, let me kill her. No. Yu Long flatly replied. Not now. Don't forget about our goal. Get the lotus first. Rawr. As the fierce beasts are busy fighting with the Heavenly King of Crow and Heavenly King of Horror, Camilla bursts through all the woods and sends several trees flying. Tempest descended, dive-bombing the area with a violent tornado. It hides her presence. On the flat side of Camilla's tail, Yu Long stood and waited for the Sirex to reach enough momentum. Now! Yu Long said, and Camilla flicked her tail like a whip. Whoosh! Yu Long is flying like a cannonball, breaking the sound barrier. He definitely caught the attention of the still fighting beasts, but their realization was instantly cut short when the golden blue lotus disappeared from their sight. Some beasts have enhanced vision similar to the Heavenly King of Crow, but they still couldn't believe their eyes. How did the treasure they fought over suddenly disappear like that? Yu Long landed on the other side of the Golden Lake and stared at the green light in his left palm. The sky poison pearl's harvesting speed on medicinal herbs increased significantly after fusing into one. He prayed into the sky poison pearl and analyzed the golden blue lotus's composition. After a few moments, he sighed because the herb was useless to him. Why useless? Well, it could only help profound beasts to promote their bodies to a higher rank. The effect would be better if Yu Long refined it into a pill, but that's it. That explains why the mutated beasts and heavenly kings fight over this lotus. Roar! The flesh-bone golem suddenly rushed toward Yu Long. The Heavenly King of Horror must have realized Yu Long's trick. Watching the behemoth coming for him, Yu Long smiled and snapped his finger casually. Thunderfire wings appeared behind his back and swirled, creating a field force. Boom! The field force and flesh-bone golem clashed, and the latter lost because Yulong made the field force with the power of lightning and fire that damaged the golem's body. Of course, this wasn't enough to kill the golem. Yulong gazed at the pile of bones far away, seeing it quiver slightly. "Let's see how tough you're," he said while controlling the thunderfire wings. The wings become thinner and sharper, glowing with faint sharpness. Flash step. Yulong walked forward and moved, leaving his afterimages everywhere. When he landed on the ground, several bright purple lines appeared on the golem's body and caused it to explode with a pillar of light. Boom! Not a shabby move, I should name it. What about Thunder Phoenix Dance? Damned human! Someone shouted at Yulong. Yulong turned around and saw the Heavenly King of Crow glaring at him. Heavenly King of Crow has taken control of his enemies' minds, turning them into loyal puppets. He was angry and pushed his ability to the limit. Kill him! Roar! Roar! The mutated beasts charged at Yulong. Yulong whistled, seeing a black shadow approach the mutated beasts with a fiery appearance. Where? Camilla appeared and slashed through the mutated beasts, rampaging with all her might. After killing them all, she waved her sword-like tail and roared proudly at Yulong as if saying she was a good girl. Haha! Yulong laughed joyfully. How adorable! Boom! The Heavenly King of Horror finally exposed herself off the bone piles and stood beside the Heavenly King of Crow. They faced Yulong and Camilla with solemn expressions. Sword-tailed dragon, and human. It is unusual, said the Heavenly King of Horror. Crow, can you handle the human? Humph, he's just a mere lucky human. The Heavenly King of Crow narrowed his eyes at Camilla. What about you? Can you handle the sword-tailed dragon? I can. It will be 2 against 2. And we will win. Wrong, you fool. Tempest abruptly appeared above Camilla. It would be 3 against 2. Chapter 245, True Darkness and Heavenly Punishment. The Heavenly King of Horror and Heavenly King of Crow grimaced at this situation. They didn't expect Tempest to appear and ruin the balance of the fight. They knew Tempest. She was the 7th-ranked Heavenly King, higher than both of them. Her power over the storm is too strong. Even the Heavenly King of Crow courted Tempest once years ago, but he failed because she hated his guts. To him, it was a logical thought of breeding between 2 Heavenly Kings as they are birds. On the other hand, the Heavenly King of Horror felt pressured. She needs a direct touch on her enemy for her power to work. She usually fired barbed projectiles, yet those attacks weren't resilient enough against Tempest's power to generate storms. Yes, it was a direct counter to her ability. In Yulong's eyes, Tempest might be weak. But it was different for these Heavenly Kings. Simply put, Tempest is their nemesis. Tempest! The Heavenly King of Crow's face darkened. We don't have conflict with you. Why don't you retreat on this matter? Tempest snorted, Dirty Crow, you're offending my God Master, so in other words, you're offending me. Do you think I'm a pushover you can repel with just words? You're just ranked 9th. The Heavenly King of Crow was livid. God Master! The Heavenly King of Horror frowned. For a prideful beast like Tempest to say such a thing, this male human must be the one who defeated her a while ago. He was the one who killed Burning Venom. Crow, this is not good. She used her telepathy ability. We are outnumbered. And the other side is probably more terrifying than we thought. Shut up. The Heavenly King of Crow caught at the spider. I will show this human why I got called the Illusion Master. Just take care of Tempest and the sword-tailed dragon for a moment. The Heavenly King of Horror sighed. This guy is beyond help. Her partner in crime is so quickly agitated. Attack. Even then, the Heavenly King of Horror can't run. She hurriedly spun in and launched several barbed projectiles at her enemies. The Heavenly King of Crow instantly moved, rising to the sky with a flap of wings. Tempest cawed to create a repelling storm, and the barbed projectiles bounced away. Nightmare. The Heavenly King of Horror descended, casting a wide area of illusions. His mental power pressed on the ground, putting Yulong, Camilla, and Tempest in a nightmare-like world. The surrounding area changed abruptly. The golden lake becomes burning lava, and the lush forest becomes a protruding bone forest. But the most noticeable change is definitely the sun. It has become a blood-red moon. Yulong sensed the intense glare of the blood-red moon and squinted slightly. This illusion field was interestingly not created to overwhelm the enemy's senses but to affect the world. It's like altering reality but in a concentrated area. So this is a domain expansion. Yu Long mumbled to himself. Camilla warily looked around and stayed close to Yu Long. Although she wasn't very good at the mental field, her mother was always the one who shattered this particular ability. She has yet to develop her tyrannical power, not to be affected by illusion or other mental power. Tempest also put on a troubled look. TCH, I didn't expect Dirty Crow to develop such an ability. This is annoying. The Heavenly King of Crow appeared in the sky, laughing at them. Kakik. How is my ultimate power? I was planning to use this on the strongest Heavenly King, Greed, but you forced me to use it early. Be proud, you three. You will be the first to experience my atrocity. Yu Long dug his right ear lazily. Third-rate domain like this isn't worthy of my time. I will give you. How about 5 seconds? To take off the domain, or you will regret it. Humph. You still dare to be arrogant in my absolute presence. The Black Crow mocked Yu Long. So be it. Let me show you the ugliest side of your pitiful heart, human. Oh, no. Tempest paled upon hearing the stupid crow's words. The Heavenly King of Crow made a grabbing gesture with its claws and caused Yu Long's body to shake a little. Heartbreak. All of a sudden, the world changed again. You. The Black Crow's voice trembled. What are you? How could your heart have so much darkness? As if the Heavenly King of Crow had seen a frightening sight, he looked at Yu Long like a monster. Yes, an evil monster that shouldn't exist and live in this world. Unfortunately, the Heavenly King of Crow couldn't cancel his technique and triggered apocalypse-like changes in his illusion domain. Kaka. The sound of breaking glass reverberated. With Yu Long as the center, countless shadows burst out and appeared with monstrous looks. Each shadow is towering, taller than the Heavenly King of Crow, who hovered in the sky. Everyone's eyes widened in fear. Camilla whimpered nervously, lowering her head and covering it with her tail. Yu Long glanced at the shadows. Me. I am the king. Boom. The illusion domain exploded, and the Heavenly King of Crow shrieked with bloody eyes. Mental fatigue is excruciating to the Black Crow as it sears right into his brain. Too much information. After invading Yu Long's heart, the Heavenly King of Crow only peeled a layer but caused him to end in misery. What lies inside that first layer is another layer of darkness, darker than anything he had ever seen. The Black Crow roared in pain. Stop! Stop! Make it stop! Relief! He needs relief! Poof! In the end, the Heavenly King of Crow decided to blow his own head and killed himself in the process. Looking at the once haughty and mighty Black Crow's state, everyone felt a chill in their spines. Just what does the Black Crow see in Yu Long's heart? No one knows except Yu Long himself. Yu Long indifferently glanced at the Black Crow's corpse. I warned him already. He didn't listen to me at all. He sighed helplessly. Yu Long extended his hand and turned the Black Crow's body into light particles before condensing it into an essence sphere. He looked at the shivering mess of a spider. You. Why don't you fight? He smiled at the Heavenly King of Horror. The Heavenly King of Horror's body shook as she lowered her head and said, God Master, please spare my life. I'm just a small creature compared to you. Please be merciful for once. Just this once. I will reform myself. Yu Long smiled, reform yourself? That's funny coming from a beast who fed upon children's corpses and spines. Yes, I know how your ability develops, little spider. After all, I'm the one who killed Flesh Doll and Bone Commander, turning them into demonic cores that you ate. I'm not a kind person myself. I have a fair share of dirty acts. He added casually. But. Answer me honestly. How many children have you killed? The Heavenly King of Horror trembled even more. F5 million. Tempest's eyes widened in shock. 5 million. Why you're more disgusting than I thought. Yu Long was unfazed. 5 million are just humans, right? The spider nodded in fear. Why yes. I also ate other races' children and killed over 30 million of them. Tempest's eyes become murderous. Although this world ruled based on the survival of the fittest, she still couldn't wrap her head around the Heavenly King of Horror's atrocity. Good. Yu Long calmly said, gaining a raised brow from Tempest. God Master, you. Tempest felt a doubt once in her life. Yu Long pointed at the Heavenly King of Horror. Good, you have farmed an immense amount of bad karma. Now let me kill you and get enough retribution for those unfortunate souls. No, please don't. The Heavenly King of Horror jumped and ran away from the Golden Lake. Unfortunately, she was too slow. A purple light flashed, and the last thing the Heavenly King of Horror saw was a cold-faced young man on a tree. His golden eyes looked down on her like she was a worm. Thunder Phoenix Dance. A calm voice entered her ears. Boom. A pillar of thunder fire swallowed the Heavenly King of Horror, burning her to cell levels and making her experience agony. Even her very soul got burned by this heavenly punishment. Karma always bit back. Yu Long gazed down coldly. You reap what you sow. Chapter 246, Mysterious Wall, Crimson Eye Mark. After killing the Heavenly King of Horror, Yu Long extracted her remaining essence and turned it into an essence sphere. Still, he didn't even touch the essence sphere and threw it into the Kaiju world instead. He doesn't want to eat that dirty essence. Yu Long flash stepped and arrived by Camilla's side. The young Sirex was taken aback and retread by a few steps. What? Are you afraid of me now, little Camilla? Yu Long said to the young Sirex with a teasing smile. Arr! Camilla roared at Yu Long angrily, not admitting her fear or obviously trembling legs. What about you, Tempest? Yu Long glanced at the green bird. Tempest shook her head frantically. No. Really? Well, I'm a bit afraid. Hehe, at least you're honest. Tempest broke a cold sweat. She really doesn't want to be teased by Yu Long after witnessing what happened to the Heavenly King of Crow and Heavenly King of Horror. Horror definitely deserved what's coming after her, but Crow. Tempest thought solemnly. Just what did he see in Godmaster's heart? I don't know anymore. As long as I'm on Godmaster's side and do his bidding, my life shouldn't be threatened. Yu Long patted Camilla's head and said, Don't worry. I won't harm you two in any way. I'm a man of character. Let's continue our way to the Dead Star Lake. The others should have waited for us there. With that, the three continued their journeys. They faced some mutated beasts on the way, but nothing Camilla couldn't beat as she only needed one tail sweep. 1 hour later, they arrived at the Dead Star Lake. I know the lake is full of dark water, but this is weird. The water shouldn't be that deep. All the indicators are off. Yu Long commented at the sight of Dead Star Lake. Like in Burning Venom's memory, the appearance is still the same, but Yu Long could feel a lingering presence now. On top of that, the lake also gave off a familiar yet unfamiliar ominous sensation in Yu Long's skin. Camilla, Tempest, wait here. Yu Long lightly tapped the ground and prepared to approach the lake. Godmaster, be careful. Tempest said with worry. Rawr! Camilla roared worriedly as well. Even her mother told her not to get too close to the lake. There is a scary thing down there. All right. Yu Long gave them a reassuring look. After that, he vanished with a flicker of lightning. Several kilometers away, Yu Long landed on the edge of Dead Star Lake and observed the dark water with Kaiju Maker. Yu Long even used his other enhanced senses to sense what was wrong, but something was weirdly dampening his ability for some reason. It's not a living being, for sure. But an object. Yu Long frowned slightly and stretched his hand to the dark water, feeling a substance eating his vitality away. Of course, he quickly suppressed the substance and injected his profound energy inside. Hey! A wall! Yu Long sensed a spatial wall 10 meters deep, which confused him because he didn't sense any spatial disturbance. He closed his eyes and focused all his power on cracking the spatial wall, prying into the dimension on the other side of the wall. However, then a pair of demonic black eyes with red sclera stared back at Yu Long. Boom! Yu Long glared at the demonic black eyes and clashed with mental power, causing a spark in the void. Bam! Dead Star Lake started bubbling, and a jet stream exploded out. Yu Long pulled his hand off the water and looked at it solemnly. That was weird. On the back of Yu Long's right hand is a crimson eye mark encased in black flame. At first, Yu Long thought it was a curse. But no. Yu Long could feel incredible power coming from the crimson eye mark, and it actually increased his strength by 10%. Don't look down on a 10% increase in power. Yu Long's strength is boundless in the eyes of others. Still, to increase Yu Long's strength by 10%, something is definitely special about it. Yu Long analyzed the mark with Kaiju Maker but found nothing special about it. Just what is this mark? He tried a few methods to erase the mark, even cutting his hand and growing it back. Still, the crimson eye mark still exists. It seems I was stuck with this mark until I found the correct method to erase it. He sighed helplessly. I should ask for Shizu's help. She should have some knowledge about this matter. Yulong returned his gaze to the lake and found it calm like before, as if the explosion never happened. He stuck his hand in the water and used profound energy to pry deeper into the spatial wall. The wall disappeared. What the foo? Did someone play a prank on me? This is getting weirder and weirder. Yulong rubbed his chin, pondering his next move. After a few minutes, Yulong did the unthinkable and left some of his kaiju. Of course, he did it in a discreet way possible. He's setting a trap. Zika, born, hid yourself well. I want you to wait if there is more reaction in the Dead Star Lake. Yulong ordered while turning his back on the lake, returning to Camilla and Tempest's side. Understood/got it. 2x. Two voices echoed in Yulong's head. Yulong landed near Camilla and said, let's check the Star River. I hope we can catch some demonic cores there. Godmaster, are you alright? Before they could continue, Tempest asked out of worry. Yulong waved his hand. Do I look injured, Tempest? Don't worry much. The lake might be dangerous for you guys, but it doesn't put much strain on me. Well, except for this unknown mark. Camilla gazed at Yulong from top to bottom before nodding her armored head in satisfaction. They went down the nearest water channel and spotted some mutated by the river, using their profound energy like a line to fish something. The sight looks comical, and Yulong couldn't help but laugh. Haha. They are so funny. Yulong said honestly. Imagine seeing a freaking bear using a tree as a fishing rod and fishing on the river. The level of absurdness is not for common eyes to see. Fortunately, Yulong has seen a lot of things in this world. By the way, Tempest, do you know anything about this mark? Yulong showed the crimson eye mark at the green bird. Tempest hovered beside Yulong and answered, I think. I've seen this mark before. Where? Yulong was intrigued. Heavenly King. Tempest answered unsurely. Greed. The first-ranked Heavenly King? How did he possess this mark? Yulong was confused. Tempest shook her head gently, I also don't know. The Heavenly King of Stone challenged the Heavenly King of Greed once, and the latter said only someone with the King's mark could defeat me. He then showed a small crest on his chest, which exactly looks like the mark on your hand. Camilla suddenly stopped, roaring at Yulong. Rar! Yulong nodded at Tempest and looked ahead. We have arrived at the Star River? But this spot looks desolated. Rar! Camilla tapped her tail on the ground. This is the spot you stayed on with your mother usually. Camilla nodded, searching for something. Her eyes lit up, and she threw an object at Yulong. Yulong stretched his hand and caught a metal rod carved meticulously with runic characters. It's sky blue and looks made from clear ice crystals. Rar! Camilla roared at Yulong and pointed at the river, seemingly telling him to fish for her. Yulong's mouth twitched. Girl, I'm not your servant. He pinched her cheek slightly. With you. Camilla sulked and buried her head in the piles of wood. Tempest giggled at this scene. Fine, fine. Yulong sighed and jumped off Camilla's back. He walked to the Star River and examined the water first. It feels like Dead Star Lake, and there is even a connection with the spatial wall underneath, but it is weaker and unstable. Chapter 247, Yulong, the Master Fisherman. Yulong stared at the steady running river and sighed, even if I force myself into the other space, I wouldn't get anywhere. Fishing, hey? I used to fish near the Yu clan's residence and catch trout as a training method, well for lunch, too. He added while staring at the icy blue rod. Tempest transformed into her human form and said, Godmaster, do you want me to demonstrate how to fish on the Star River first? Although my skill is not the best, I usually got some good catches. Sure. Yulong searched for a cozy area and found a clean grey rock to sit on. Tempest conjured a fishing rod from profound energy, enhancing it further with her wind control. After that, a fortified line, a feather-shaped sinker, and hooks were skillfully added to her fishing rod. Yulong watched this, nodding in appreciation because Tempest's control over energy wasn't horrible. Tempest breathed in and out, looking very serious. Yulong was sure she was praying or something in her heart, and then the green bird cast her first attempt. The hook fell with the sinker, entering the unstable spatial wall and passing through it successfully. I see. Yulong realized something. Since the line is thin, it could pass through the unstable spatial wall and then catch the demonic core, essence sphere. Since it's also constantly connected to the fishing rod, the line is always supplied with profound energy and acts as a bait on the hook. The sinker. How weird, why are you adding sinker, Tempest? Sinker. Tempest tilted her head. No, God Master. The feather is actually a bobber. The space within the Star River is inflexible. We usually added a bobber so we could detect the disturbance. How complicated. Yulong honestly commented. Tempest agreed with Yulong's casual words but couldn't say anything about this method. It was proven effective for 16 years, which says things about this fishing technique. There is a saying in the demonic star secret realm. To get things in this secret realm, one needs two things. A great luck. And master the art of fishing. Creak. Tempest's fishing rod bends sharply. I got a bite. Tempest excitedly said, pulling her fishing rod with all her might. Boom. The Star River spewed a small water pillar, revealing an essence sphere with a clear green color. It was a small essence sphere, but looking at Tempest's happy face, it was probably the one she needed. Yes, the wind element one. And this glow, I got the rare grade. The green happily hugged her catch. Yulong was confused this time and asked, there is a grade for demonic cores. He was the one who created these essence spheres in the past but never knew there was a classification on them. Tempest cleared her throat and replied, yup, there is. They are specified from elements, shine, and kind. Elements are naturally represented by the demonic core's color. As you can see, green is wind, red is fire, blue is water, yellow is earth, etc. There are cases of double elements like burning venoms, but it was quite rare. Shine determines the grade as white means it was the lowest, green means uncommon, blue is magical, yellow is rare, purple is epic, orange is unique, and red is the highest. As for kind, they are patterns that determine demonic core's origin. 1 striped usually means it comes from beasts. 2 stripes means it comes from a humanoid creature. 3 striped means it comes from spiritual creatures. 4 stripped. I never saw it, but rumor said the Heavenly King of Greed got it once 10 years ago. Yulong's mouth twitched because the classifications were random. He never specified things when creating the essence sphere. Stripes aren't the only patterns on the essence sphere because they always appear random. Sometimes, they could be stars or dots and shines mean nothing. It all depends on the raw essence Yulong harvested and condensed from. The element part is correct, though. Yulong played around with the ice crystal rod and created a line with a sinker and hooks attached, casting it casually. His childhood memory overlapped with the sight of a steady running river. At the same time, a certain memory of his past life flashed. Fishing isn't just about throwing bait at fish, Hayate. A lanky-looking man sat by the lake. He looks handsome in futuristic armor, but unfortunately, one of his arms is prosthetic. You must feel every movement near the line, the vibration, and everything. Don't be tempted by the small bite of the fish. Let it taste your delicious bait before reaching the hook and sending itself to your front door. Just the way life is, you shouldn't be curbed by brief temptation. There is a brighter chance in the future. I don't say this as one of your only friends. I say this as an older brother to his younger brother. The lanky-looking man grinned at Yulong. No, he grinned at Hayate, specifically. Yulong's heart shook suddenly. Wait, don't tell me. Zzzztttt. God Master. The line. Something bit the hook. Tempest hurriedly said to Yulong, awakening him from his stupor. Weirdly, the icy blue rod and Yulong don't look restrained. He casually tugged the line and pulled a golden-colored essence sphere with zigzag patterns. Whoa! I have never seen such a demonic core before. Tempest was shocked and overjoyed for Yulong. Rawr! Camilla sniffed the essence sphere and roared happily, asking Yulong to give it to her. Apparently, this one is suitable for her. Yulong tossed the essence sphere away, and Camilla bounced to eat it like an adorable puppy. He gazed at the Star River again. It can't be you, right? But why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be on Earth? Yulong vented his frustration by fishing essence spheres, gathering a small pile of it in minutes. Tempest couldn't believe her eyes. And Camilla basically rolled around in joy. Wow, so many demonic cores. As expected of God Master, he's the fishing master. Tempest couldn't help but praise Yu Long. In her life, she has never seen someone with such a godly fishing skill. Not even the first-ranked Heavenly King has such an ability. But Tempest's shock soon turned into numbness. Why? Yu Long always succeeded in fishing demonic cores every damn time, like he was attaching a special magnet on his hook that attracted these demonic cores. The success rate is 100%. Besides that, the demonic cores Yu Long fished were the rare ones with epic grade or above. Tempest. Why are people so different? Unknown to Tempest, Yu Long's success is deeply tied to his Kaiju Maker. Since Yu Long created these essence spheres with Kaiju Maker, they obviously accepted the call of their creators. Unfortunately, Yu Long can't fish everything at once. He also doesn't want to fish weak essence spheres and only focuses on the useful ones. 3 hours later, Tempest sobbed and rubbed a stick on the ground. Camilla is also quiet, glancing at the small mountain beside Yu Long with endless jealousy. Yu Long smiled at their timid acts. I will give you two some demonic cores later. Let's change the area because this will be my last cast. He added while storing the essence spheres in his Kaiju dimension. He said that because this part of Star River is basically empty of usable goods now. Simply put, the fish is gone. The last one. Yu Long cast a little seriously, using his Kaiju Maker's aura at the hook. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. ZZZT. The line shook violently. This is a big one. Yu Long commented while waiting for the other side to tire out first. After a few minutes, Yu Long pulled the rod with 1% of his strength. Boom! Tempest's eyes bulged at the thing that Yu Long pulled out. An essence sphere the size of a handball hovered in the air. It's a mix of red and purple color, with 7 stripes and a golden hue. SS7 stripped demonic core. Tempest shouted in disbelief. Oh, I didn't expect to find this here. Yu Long put on a rare smile. My luck isn't bad. I actually got 6 winged angels essence sphere. Chapter 248, Fishing Followers, Trading with a Golden Toad. 6 winged angels essence sphere, hey. Yu Long stared at the red and purple sphere with 7 stripes on his palm. Tempest and Camilla stared dumbly at the demonic core, their mouths dripping with saliva. He chuckled at their reaction. This one wasn't suitable for either of you. 6-winged angel is a monster who uses holy flame, a further mix of fire and lightning elements. Tempest, your storm control would clash with the holy flame. As for Camilla, you need a draconic type core more than anything. Your Cyrex's origin would reject 6-winged angel's core. Tempest and Camilla were depressed by his words. They had never seen the 7-striped demonic core before, and it was more painful knowing they couldn't use it. Yu Long shook his head gently and prepared something else for the bird and dinosaurs instead, grabbing 2 blue gold pills from his sky poison pearl. Eat this. I make it from the golden blue lotus we got in the golden lake earlier, and it should be able to promote your bloodline and body by a stage. Tempest and Camilla's eyes lit up. They are eyeing the blue gold pills with a hungry look. Yu Long wasn't stingy, so he threw the pills at them. Camilla swallowed it immediately, causing her body to shake and grow bigger under their watches. Her sword-like tail became jet black and serrated on some parts. Even then, Camilla's arms are still tiny. They are growing big, yes. But Yu Long believed her bloodline was lacking somehow. Meanwhile, Tempest hugged the blue gold pill before eating it. It was the best gift for her current self. After consuming the pill, Tempest's body didn't change much. Still, her beak and claws are sharper, and her feathers become luscious with an emerald gleam. There is a certain sharpness in her wind now. Overall, Tempest and Camilla have undergone an upgrade. Yu Long turned around and spotted a group of mutated beasts staring at them. Some of them even had fishing rods in their hands or claws. Rawr! Camilla walked forward, waving her sword-like tail threateningly. She seemingly asks what they want, and the bear with a tree fishing rod points at Yu Long with admiration in its eyes. Rawr! Camilla tilted her head in confusion. MHM. MHM. The bear and other mutated beasts nodded in return. Yu Long understood their conversations, and his mouth twitched because these mutated beasts actually wanted him as their boss, hoping he would give them some scraps from his fishing. Each of these beasts is a sovereign profound beast, yet they admitted Yu Long was better than them. They swallowed their pride for a sliver of opportunity to evolve. Tempest had an amused expression on her bird face. As expected, even the mutated beast acknowledged the greatness of God Master. Yu Long crossed his arms and calmly gazed at the mutated beasts before saying, "You can follow me, but you must not be noisy. I don't want to fish while you guys are roaring and cawing randomly in the background. Do you guys understand?" The mutated beasts glanced at each other and then nodded at Yu Long, giving him a piece of their minds. "Camilla, they are yours to herd now," Yu Long said to the young C-Rex. Camilla roared at the mutated beasts with a smug expression, telling them she was their second boss. A moment later, they went to another star river and discovered a golden toad who fished with his long tongue. "Heavenly King of Gold! Yu Long! What are you doing, foolish gold?" Tempest was speechless. Ranked one level higher than Tempest herself, the Heavenly King of Gold was a mysterious golden toad who was seldom from exposing himself to the outside world and usually preferred to hide from other Heavenly Kings. Although the Heavenly King of Gold would enter the demonic star secret realm, he usually hid himself very well. He only showed his strength 3 years ago when he fought the Heavenly King of Stone and successfully injured the latter. That shows how strong the Heavenly King of Gold was for being able to injure the second-ranked Heavenly King. Yet here we are, the Heavenly King of Gold was miserably fishing, his long tongue dragging through the dark water. It was such an embarrassing sight. The awkwardness gradually seeped into the atmosphere. "Go away! Don't look!" the Heavenly King of Gold shouted. "Too damned late!" Tempest shouted back. "Just ate your damn shame at this point." "Yug!" the Heavenly King of Gold sulked. Yu Long noticed a lingering perfume on the Heavenly King of Gold's body and smiled. "Heavenly King of Gold, did you enter the secret realm with someone else? A frightening empress, for example?" The Heavenly King of Gold's eyes widened. How did you?" "Empress?" Tempest tilted her head in confusion. Yu Long shrugged and answered, "When I entered the secret realm, I met an arrogant young lady in the venue, and we fought some statues to get evergreen trees due. Though, we parted after that." "Evergreen?" Tempest was shocked this time. "Trees due?" The Heavenly King of Gold couldn't believe his ears. "Human, do you have the dew?" Yu Long smiled. "What if I am, what if I'm not? If you say yes, let's do a trade." The Heavenly King of Gold replied with a determined look. "If you don't have the dew, it's fine, but tell me the location of the Empress." Yu Long narrowed his eyes at the Heavenly King of Gold. This golden toad is definitely up to something. Looking for the little demon Empress was an excuse. Yu Long knew about the Heavenly King of Gold from Burning Venom's last memory, and the White Snake believed the golden toad was one of the most cunning Heavenly Kings. "What treasure do you want to trade the dew with?" Yu Long asked while leaning on a tree. "With this." The Heavenly King of Gold showed Yu Long a 4-striped demonic core with a pure purple color. "Wow, 4-striped!" Tempest said sarcastically. "Godmaster doesn't need such a lousy demonic core. Why don't you give him your golden behemoth's claw?" "Tempest, golden behemoth's claw isn't easy to make." The Heavenly King of Gold lashed out. "I need 5 years to make one, you know. Also, what do you mean by lousy demonic core? 4-striped demonic core hardly appears, and only greed has it so far beside me." Tempest snorted and showcased a 4-striped demonic core that Yu Long handed him as a snack earlier. The golden toad was appalled. What the hell? Since when did the 4-striped demonic core become a common thing? He thought in a shambles. Yu Long glanced at Tempest and asked, "What is this golden behemoth's claw?" "Ultimate gold," Tempest answered calmly. It was said the Heavenly King of Gold was the descendant of 3-legged red toad and golden-eyed toad, inheriting his parents' innate powers, which is ultimate gold, the highest element of metal. The golden behemoth's claw is a weapon made with ultimate gold, known for its sharpness and durability. It could even cut through Heavenly King of Stone's runic body. I noticed that Godmaster lacks a good weapon and initiated a better trade. Heavenly King of Gold's eyelid twitched. This green bird ran her mouth about his secret. However, the golden toad was depressed. Before this, he had 3 golden behemoth's claws, but one was taken away by the little demon Empress, leaving him with only 2. It was hard to fight with just 2 ultimate weapons. He's weighing the worth of evergreen trees dew in his golden behemoth's claw. A few seconds later, the Heavenly King of Gold pulled his tongue out of the Star River and said, "Fine, let's do a trade. I will give you my golden behemoth's claw, but you must give me 10 drops of evergreen trees dew. Do we have a deal?" 10 drops? How cheap! Yu Long thought to himself. He had a nearly basin full of evergreen trees dew, so 10 drops are nothing. Yu Long mentally put 10 drops of the dew into the jade bottle and traded it with the golden behemoth's claw, realizing it was actually a golden sword. This golden sword was much stronger than Yu Long's bone knife made with his own bone. Yes, it is making Yu Long curious about the golden toad's ultimate gold. At the same time, the Heavenly King of Gold was overjoyed, not realizing he was making a loss in this trade. Chapter 249, Cheap Golden Toad and Trace of Gold Touch. Heaven is unfair. That's what the Heavenly King of Gold thought. He has been fishing in this dedicated star river for hours and didn't even get a bite. Meanwhile, that damned human only fished for 10 minutes and already got a handful of demonic cores. Yup, heaven is fucking unfair. Yu Long ignored the golden toad's hateful gaze and fished on the new star river while investigating the so-called golden behemoth's claw made from ultimate gold. Yu Long's hand would move from time to time, pulling the ice crystal rod, but his eyes would never wander off the 4-meter golden sword. The golden sword isn't just big but also heavy and sharp. Using Kaiju Maker, Yu Long found that the ultimate gold was actually an advanced version of metal element. It was further enhanced with earth and fire element, making it a 3 fusion element. However, there was one more variable that Yu Long couldn't understand. This golden sword actually possessed a life. Yes, you heard that right. The golden behemoth's claw is a living organism. It's not a soul life form but a genuine biological life form. As far as Yu Long knows, he couldn't recall any kaiju or mutated beast with this ability. It is like the Spirit Sword God clan's origin. Yes, it's like an unfinished part of Spirit Sword God clan, but you get the gist. Behemoth. Behemoth. The ice crystal shook, and Yu Long pulled in with one succession, getting himself a 4-strip demonic core. Tempest, Camilla, and the mutated beasts cheered in joy. Of course, they didn't dare to be loud. They could only celebrate in silence. Suddenly, Yu Long gazed at the pitiful giant toad and asked, "Hey, what did you do to this golden sword besides putting metal, earth, and fire elements in it?" The Heavenly King of Gold froze on the spot. He thought there was something wrong with his ears, but no. He stared at Yu Long in disbelief, wondering how the fuck did he know about his secret technique in making golden behemoth's claw. This human. Just who is he? The golden toad was nervous. Even though he didn't look down on humans like some heavenly kings, he was actually more wary of their potential. Unlike profound beasts, humans possessed a wisdom that allowed them to create things like profound art and profound artifacts. In fact, the Heavenly King of Gold has to steal a secret technique to create his trump card. I don't know what you are talking about. The golden toad feigns to be innocent. Yu Long narrowed his eyes, is that so? Not even with 10 more drops of evergreen trees dew. I got a secret technique from a dying human. The Heavenly King of Gold cast aside his pride and shamelessly responded. His golden skin is too thick to be affected by this sudden mood change. Yu Long. Tempest. Camilla. How cheap. This guy is too cheap. Whatever. Secret technique? Yu Long questioned. The Heavenly King of Gold nodded and then sighed, 15 years ago, I met with a dying human in my domain. He was mute, deaf, and blind. But who would have thought he possessed genius-level intellect? He created a tailor-made profound art for me, even adding his secret technique into it. The secret technique involves bestowing life into an object. You can think of it like a magical spell. But I can't do it well, and the energy required needs 5 years to accumulate. Can you share the profound art and the secret technique with me? Yu Long smiled faintly. The golden toad nervously looked down, I can't. I will give 20 more drops of evergreen trees dews on top of the previous one. Yu Long threw another piece of bread. Of course, we can talk it out. Brother human, you're quite handsome, haha. The golden toad immediately lifted his head, gazing at Yu Long with a fawning expression. Shameless toad. Everyone thought simultaneously. No wonder little demon empress could rent this fellow. Yu Long sighed inwardly. This realization made him realize little demon empress might be a shady profiteer. But from their previous encounter, she seems fair when making decisions. That's until she decided to kill him. Well, the unreasonable part aside, she's a decent person. Yu Long grabbed a jade bottle and dropped the evergreen trees dew one by one within the golden toad's line of sight. The Heavenly King of Gold's breathing took a sharp turn. He was starving for heavenly treasure like the evergreen trees do and believed he could fast for a year or two from this great fortune. Yet he was happy too fast. The jade bottle didn't budge from Yu Long's hand and stayed above the dangerous Star River. The golden toad paled, "Human brother, please don't tease me like this. You're making my heart jump by doing that." Yulong lifted one finger off the bottle, and the golden toad panicked. "Did you forget something, Heavenly King of Gold?" The Heavenly King of Gold immediately realized his mistake. He hurriedly held spatial storage, a beagle off his back, and courteously offered it to Yulong. "Human brother, the profound art and secret technique are inside this spatial storage. There are also some materials you can use to form golden behemoth's claw. Throw it," Yulong said casually. The golden toad nodded and threw the spatial storage to Yulong. Yulong also threw the jade bottle at him. Receiving the items they want, the trade is finally complete. The Heavenly King of Gold cried in happiness. With 40 drops of evergreen trees dew, he should be able to obtain evergreen immortal physique and evolve into verdant golden toad king. No one would mock his appearance again. On the other hand, Yulong checked the spatial storage and found a gold slate with engravings. "By the way, is the human who gave you this still alive?" Yulong asked the golden toad. The Heavenly King of Gold shook his head bitterly. "He died abnormally and got his soul and body turned into ashes from an unknown curse." Yulong checked the golden slate, scanning it with his Kaiju Maker, and experienced several visions. Dawn of man. Dawn of law. Dawn of universe. Gold is eternal currency in life and death. Buy soul, sell true death. Hey! Yulong blinked a few times and sensed a profound art and secret technique imprinted in his head. Profound art, eternal gold monarch. Secret technique, Midas's touch. Midas. Yulong's expression turned weird. "Hey, Goldie! What's the name of that human?" The Heavenly King of Gold was awkward when Yulong called him with Goldie, but he didn't mind. This rich human deserved to be his friend. "He never gives me his name. But he preferred to be called Dio for some reason." "Dio." Yulong's golden eyes become increasingly warm. He looked at the gold slate in his hand. "You wouldn't use that name without reason, especially in an unknown place. What are you doing here, buddy?" "Ha!" He let out a long sigh. "I might know who was behind the demonic star secret realm now." Yulong ruffled his hair. "Still, I need more clues. Why did the people from my previous life also arrive at the primal chaos dimension? Didn't I save them from the cosmic storm? This is puzzling." Chapter 250, Eternal Gold Monarch Art, Midas's Touch. Yulong stared at the gold slate with complex emotions. He kept it in the sky poison pearl to investigate more later and decided to see what Eternal Gold Monarch Art and Midas Touch secret technique had to offer. After analyzing the profound art, Yulong realized there was more to it in the Eternal Gold Monarch Art. The concept of eternal gold and a ruler isn't something one easily grasped, but he understood it well. As he previously guessed, the Eternal Gold Monarch Art is mainly about fusing metal, earth, and fire elements. However, that's just the essential premise because one must train their physique to bear ultimate gold. Not just any physique, but a saint's physique. Like Xia Qingyu's 9 profound exquisite body. The saint's physique is called the Golden Blood Immortal Physique. No wonder it took the Heavenly King of Gold 5 years to accumulate enough energy for Midas's touch. Midas's touch is actually a simple secret technique. It utilized golden blood, which possessed strong vitality and a wisp of spirituality that could bestow on the ultimate gold. That's how the golden behemoth's claw is a living being because it has golden blood. Unfortunately, condensing golden blood is as demanding as becoming divine beast for the Heavenly King of Gold. He needs so many demonic cores and heavenly treasures to condense a drop of golden blood. Ha! So that's why the golden toad was so happy with the evergreen trees dew. Yulong's mouth twitched. This is definitely that guy's style. Even though the golden blood immortal physique is strong, it still revolves around golden blood and ultimate gold. Without them, this saint's physique is only strong physically. Yulong thought he could modify the Eternal Gold Monarch Art, but that would take too much effort. He also doesn't want to change his body too much. He glanced at his right hand, plagued by the crimson eye mark. This will do, I guess. After making his thought, Yulong's right hand crushed and became dark necrotic due to an insufficient supply of blood. He didn't panic and slowly ran profound energy into his hands, using the profound veins points as nodes. Art of metal. Art of earth. Art of fire. Yulong didn't outright copy the Eternal Gold Monarch Art. He replicated the phenomenon with his own profound arts, which he was more familiar with. He also doesn't need to consume heavenly treasures. His blood is a top-notch heavenly treasure that no one could replicate. Vitality exploded and rushed to Yulong's necrotic hand, causing it to grow scabs before revealing a flawless and fair hand. This hand didn't match the rest of his body's complexion. Kaiju Maker's vitality is very tenacious. So, Yulong's right hand had undergone a rebirth-like condition. Of course, this process is far from over. The next step is to allow the blood in his right hand to synthesize with 3 elements and transform into golden blood. Dum. 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 Yulong's heartbeat became abnormal, and the Great Way of the Buddha seemingly rejected this physical change, which caused an intense dark golden glow to wrap around his body. You have nothing to say about my body. Yulong coldly glanced at the dark golden pagoda atop his head. I don't fucking care if Rage God was the one who made you. I'm the king here. After saying that, the dark golden pagoda flashed with red demonic light before vanishing into the void. Yulong snorted and focused on his right hand back. The crimson eye mark already occupied the back of his hand, but that won't change his plan. Settle down. Boom. Yulong's right hand jerked into motion. The flawless and fair skin gained a gold-like quality and glowed with a mysterious hue. And the crimson eye mark makes it even more mysterious. Everyone stared at Yulong's right hand and felt instinctive fear. They felt that hand could change them forever, not in a good way. The Heavenly King of Gold. What the hell? Human brother, you're so fierce. You actually reached the first stage of Eternal Gold Monarch art so fast. Unknown to the Golden Toad, Yulong has reached this stage because that's all he needs. More doesn't always mean good. Yulong smiled at the Golden Toad and didn't explain anything. He grabbed a random tree branch and transformed it into pure gold. No, he turned it into ultimate gold. Midas's touch, not bad. How? The Heavenly King of Gold was speechless this time. Even though Yulong has reached the first stage of Eternal Gold Monarch art, he shouldn't be able to use ultimate gold instantly. Moreover, Yulong shouldn't have a drop of golden blood using Midas's touch. Yulong nonchalantly changed the grip on the ice crystal rod to his right hand and turned the fishing rod into a living gold. Not only does this reinforce the already strong fishing rod, but it also grants it the ability to ignore any defense. Here we go. He pulled the brilliant gold rod, pulling 7 stripped demonic core again. I knew it. This thing also correlates with good luck. What a good technique. With that in mind, Yulong snapped his fingers and created more ultimate golds before turning them into fishing rods to fish on the Star River. His action shook everyone. Wait, please be human. Don't you want to leave some for us? Please. However, Yulong ignored their pleading gazes, especially the Golden Toad, and focused on fishing more essence spheres until the Star River became dry. Tempest's face twitched in complex emotion. Is this something a human can do? No, Godmaster is not a human. He's a god. Camilla roared and clapped her sword-like tail on the ground, cheering Yulong to get more demonic cores. To her, the more Yulong fish, the more she could eat. Let's go to the next Star River. Yulong said after getting everything he needed from this Star River. Then, they left. Human brother, wait for me. The Heavenly King of Gold shamelessly chased after Yulong. He finally found someone reliable to hug thigh on. He couldn't possibly let this chance away. Yulong raised every Star River in the area, getting more mutated beasts following him each session. He actually wanted to test the extent of the lucky effect brought by the ultimate god. He didn't expect the effect to be this good. Yulong's rate of getting rare essence spheres is 120% in all 42 Star Rivers. The drop rate remained even when Yulong didn't use the Kaiju Maker. Of course, there is no perfect ability. Yulong noticed that the ultimate gold's lifespan is extremely short if he makes too many at once. To make a sturdier and more refined ultimate gold, he must expend more importance and golden blood. After 100-star river, he finally stopped and turned around, realizing a swarm of mutated beasts was following him now. This. Yulong raised his eyebrow. Godmaster, they are following us because of your greatness, Tempest commented with a point. Your fishing skill has tamed them. I only learned a new technique, and suddenly, I'm the leader of mutated beasts. Yulong blinked his eyes in amazement. Wait a second. His inner monologue sounds like a web novel's title. Yulong bitterly shook his head. I'm not interested in ruling them, but whatever. Camilla, boss them around like before. Rawr. Camilla complained because Yulong threw a random duty at her. At first, she likes to boss around these mutated beasts, but there are too many old coots now. Some of them are equal to Camilla's mother in strength. At the same time, the Heavenly King of Stone and Heavenly King of Song have made enough preparations. Husband, let's start, said the white-furred and golden-horned bison. The giant cow with runes all over his body nodded, It's time to summon a god. The demonic star secret realm shook. A purple crack appeared in the dusky sky. Chapter 251, Alien Bug Race, Hemer. Boom. Tremor hit the demonic star secret realm. Everyone looked up and saw a purple crack in the sky, giving off an odd and threatening feeling. Yulong frowned at this sight, this presence. What is that trash doing here? I thought I killed him thrice already. No, wait. A few of my essence spheres do possess an ability to open a portal to dark dimensions. Did someone get lucky and obtain this ability? Yulong's frown becomes darker in displeasure. In Yulong's previous life, besides the mutated beasts, he also had to fight creatures from other dimensions. Angel, demon, and even eldritch creatures somehow clawed their way to the earth. However, they dared not enter his territory after Yulong killed their alpha, ruler, and kings. Of course, there are some exceptions. Alien races like the Xenomorph, Crystallizer, and Turoth are mindless creatures who only know to kill, eat, and destroy civilizations. Their way of thinking is primitive and based on numb instincts. Yulong knew the purple crack wasn't actually created by those alien races, but the same rules applied this time, and the only difference was that this alien race had a so-called god on their side. An annoying piece of shit. Unfortunately, Yulong can't break the portal. That would hasten the speed of the swarm's arrival instead. Yulong rubbed his temple and suddenly felt a deep resentment from his right hand. The crimson eye mark lit up as if showing its anger toward the purple crack. Surprisingly, the mark also boosted Yulong's strength more. The initial 10% boost becomes 15% instantly. How weird. Yulong couldn't wrap his head around the fact this crimson eye mark connected to those annoyed flies. As far he knew, the latter always made enemies, but to have such deep resentment. He stared at the crimson eye mark and mumbled, does this mark come from a destroyed civilization? If that is so, then it explains many things. Godmaster, what should we do? Tempest hovered near Yulong. She worriedly stared at the purple crack. That looks dangerous to me. Yulong smiled, you will be fine when you follow my instructions. Go and fetch North and people from the heavenly demon cult. Camilla and I will be waiting here. Gulp. The golden toad swallowed his saliva nervously. Human brother, does your team need another helper? I might not be the strongest heavenly king, but I can fight well. Even though the golden toad's statement is questionable, Yulong nods and allows him into the group. One of the reasons is golden behemoth's claw, which could ignore physical defense. It could even injure one's soul. So, the heavenly king of gold is a valuable asset in this sudden crisis. Well, it's not so much a crisis if Yulong is around. After waiting for 5 minutes, Tempest returned with a group of people and a massive turtle. North. The heavenly king of the north groaned upon seeing the golden toad. Gold. Heavenly king of gold reacted similarly. What's wrong with them? Chu Yueli landed near Yulong. There is also Yunchengai, Fu Zhong, and Ani with her. Yulong shrugged, probably an old rivalry. How is your harvest, Yueli? Chu Yueli beamed happily and showed Yulong a big leather bag filled with essence spheres. Meanwhile, Yun Kanghai and Fu Zhong have a bitter look on their wrinkled faces. Yulong didn't bother to ask the elders as they got nothing. Not even heavenly treasures. Damn it! Yun Kanghai cursed. That accursed Star River is definitely playing around with us. How could I not catch a thing after fishing for hours? Oh. Fu Zhong agreed with Yun Kanghai. They didn't buy that the Star River might not prefer their profound energy as baits. Ani idly gazed around, and her eyes stopped at Camilla. Camilla felt a cold sensation on her neck and turned around slowly. Her eyes met Ani's predatory eyes. Don't scare her. She's one of us now. Yulong chuckled at Ani's act of trying to intimidate Sirex. If Camilla's mother were here, Ani would have a tough fight. Ani pouted, fine. What's her name, master? Camilla. Camilla? Good name, pretty for a boy. She's a girl. Leaving Ani to her device, Yulong gazed at the distance and shared some knowledge about the enemy. Our enemy is called Soul Striking Bug or Hemer. They are known for their ability to destroy things and multiply at a fast pace. How fast are we talking here? Yun Kanghai asked. Yu Long stared at Yun Kanghai and answered, let me finish my words first. Hemor's way to multiply is bizarre. Their lifespan is very short, and that makes them terrifying opponents. Once they swallowed a soul, they would become an adult and lay 30 eggs, which would hatch in 5 seconds and continue the cycle until there is no soul left behind to eat. Oh, yet. Hemor also eats meat, bone, and internal organs but prefers the soul more. Everyone's breathing took a sharp turn. What a terrifying creature! But then, they realized something more horrifying. Yu Long's solemn expression awakened them from their shock. Yes, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, then we can't let Hemor get out of Demonic Star Secret Realm at all costs. They would destroy Blue Pole Star quickly. He sternly said. We must destroy them all here and now. What are we waiting for then? Yun Kanghai was ready to blast some bugs. Yu Long shook his head gently, my explanation isn't over. There is one more thing you must know about Hemor. They have their own god in the colony, Hemor Chus. This god controls the soul that Hemas devoured and used them to become stronger. So don't make direct contact with them for more than 3 seconds, or else your soul will be Hemorchias's toy to play with. Yu Long's cold voice was like an ice water bucket thrown at their faces. Not only do they have to slaughter Hemas down, but they also cannot afford to touch them for more than 3 seconds. It is harsh, very harsh. Chu Yueli breathed in and slapped her cheeks lightly, we can do this. Yet before they could even fight the first crisis, another one appeared. Star River reacted weirdly, and several jets of dark waters soared to the sky. Ha, this must be a joke. Yu Long sharply glanced in the Dead Star Lake's direction and felt a connection from the previously disappeared spatial wall appear again. His crimson eye mark also throbbed. Boom! An obsidian-armored figure crashed near the Dead Star Lake, wrapped in red mist and a dangerous aura. Zika and Born shared this sight with Yu Long and made him frown. Heavenly King of Greed. Yu Long recognized the obsidian-armored figure in the red mist. According to Tempest, the Heavenly King of Greed also bears the crimson eye mark, otherwise known as the King's Mark. He didn't expect to see the first-ranked Heavenly King here. No, he expected it, but not this soon. Is this fellow connected to the Dead Star Lake somehow? If so, Yu Long wouldn't be surprised. The dark water in the Dead Star Lake is overflowing, pouring out into that of a dark monolith from pure obsidian. She-eating. The dark monolith rang with ear-piercing sound toward the purple crack. Heavenly King of Greed stayed in his spot, crossing his arms while waiting for something. Supersonic? Don't tell me he is also waiting for Hemor. Yu Long was speechless. Did he know about Hemor's habits? Just who is this fellow? Zika and Born are very close to the Heavenly King of Greed. They could feel immense power from the latter. However, they also felt a familiar aura from this obsidian-armored figure. Kaka. The purple crack spread, finally breaking the Demonic Star Secret Realm's dimensional barrier. Swoosh! Platinum rain started pouring into the Secret Realm, sweeping the ground like a tsunami. Wait, the platinum rain is actually not water droplets. Those platinum droplets are billions, if not trillions, of Hemors. Chapter 252, Wave of Destruction, Visitor from the Past. Hemor's body consists of a thick platinum exoskeleton, reinforced razor-sharp claws, mouths, fastly digesting organs, and extended nerves that move based on instinct. Simply put, they are like cockroaches. They have no brains and rely on their racial ability to devour souls and other things, overcoming their weak individual strengths. With enough nutrients, they would start laying eggs and spread chaos. At this very moment, a wave of platinum sea swept the Demon Star Secret Realm. Everyone was solemn, heavenly kings and people from the heavenly demon cult included. Yu Long gazed at the Hemor waves calmly, feeling a little nostalgic as he almost lost 2 cities because of these roaches. At the time, he was still experimenting with Kaiju Maker's abilities. He waved his hand, and a giant golden sword appeared instantly. Eternal Gold Monarch Art X Art of Lightning and Thunder. Thundering Gold Lightning Beam. Swoosh! A bright golden light exploded from the ultimate gold, killing Hemors like crickets before the sun ray. This attack alone erased half of the Hemors in the area. Yu Long indifferently, what are you guys waiting for? Attack! Boom! Chu Yueli was the first to move. She rushed forward with illusory steps that several afterimages and left a trail of coldness, turning Hemors into ice statues. Fu Zhong stomped his feet to the ground, creating a tremor that shook the area violently. Thunderer's Blade. Yun Kanghai moved freely on the battlefield, dancing with bright cyan lightning arcs. Attack! The rest followed them into the battlefield. Yu Long crossed his arms. Besides not getting yourself touched, you also need to know Hemer's weakness. They are weak to fire, ice, and internal damages. Those who don't have the means to create those advantages, stay behind and support. North, use your water bubbles to protect our comrades. Tempest, separate the waves into two parts and shake them off each other. As for gold, coat your ultimate gold around Yueli's ice. Yu Long's voice rang loud and clear on the battlefield, allowing everyone to react quickly. He's like a grand commander in a war. At the same time, his peripheral vision never left the Heavenly King of Greed. The obsidian armored figure intrigued Yu Long. Rrrr. A screeching sound caused Yu Long's eyelid to twitch in annoyance. It's here. The general. Hemer's general is a superior version of ordinary Hemer. They can't lay eggs, but their fighting force is that of a monster. A towering insect clad in platinum armor stood behind the Hemer's waves, flicking its jointed arms around. Ani. Yu Long was still calm, though. Roar. The Ichthyosaurus transformed and pounced on the Hemer's general and caused seawater to crash onto the insect's waves. Boom! Ani's eyes flashed with murder, and she tore the Hemer's general with her strong teeth. Yun Kanghai looked at this and cursed, damn it! I knew something wasn't right with that girl. She's equal to the scorpion-tailed bastard. Crack! Boom! Ani successfully broke the Hemer's defensive lines. As the seawater poured in, the mutated beasts charged into the Platinum Sea and used everything they had. Not far away, a cow and bison stared at the sight with bewilderment. How did they kill the wave of destruction this quickly? The Heavenly King of Song was confused. Heavenly King of Stone frowned, that human. He was the one who orchestrated those attacks. However, it is still useless. God's power is endless. So, the wave of destruction will continue until every last of them perished by the soul-devouring apostles. Song, use your power to direct the apostles' fleshes and feed them to our children. The cow glanced at his wife. The bison was stupefied. Are you planning to betray God? No, I'm just increasing our children's prospects. The Heavenly King of Stone sternly replied. After eating so many apostles' fleshes, our children would have a better chance of becoming divine beast. The Heavenly King of Song hesitated before nodding her head. She saw the small mountain on her husband's back and heard 3 heartbeats from inside. She hummed, and the earth rumbled. Dark roots traveled underground, breaking a small layer above and spreading dark spores. The dark spores are microscopic parasites, moved based on her tunes. Soon, the corpses of Hemers under the battlefield were immediately swallowed by the spores and moved to the small mountain on the Heavenly King of Stone's back. Yu Long noticed the two's plots but ignored them for now. To Yu Long, the Heavenly King of Stone and Heavenly King of Song are clowns waiting to get beaten into pulps. The purple portal expanded, causing the atmosphere to become rigid and suffocate everyone. Ding! The black monolith near the Heavenly King of Greed let out a bright red light, and the atmosphere eased. 2 lights clashed in the air. One is destructive purple. And the other is ominous red. Kaka! Another crack appeared near the purple portal, revealing a sickle-like insect arm reaching out. Yu Long recognized the sickle-like insect arm and immediately used his technique. Art of Ghost, Domain Expansion. An eerie black-purple aura shot up from Yu Long's shadow, expanding and protecting everyone. He did this because the sickle-like insect arm was about to launch a powerful attack. Swoosh! The sickle-like insect arm swung instantly, launching a deadly crimson arc that could slice one's soul and kill anyone below Tyrant Profound Realms. Boom! A shockwave hit the Demon Star Secret Realm, consuming everything in dead white mist. Yu Long stared at his stretched right arm and mumbled, "This guy has become stronger. How many stars has he swallowed?" As the dust cleared, everyone could see 3 pairs of red-pupilled dark eyes peeking from the portal. The eyes reminded Yu Long of the crimson eye mark on the back of his right hand, but he could still feel the resentment. The mark wanted. No, it wished Yu Long could kill the one behind that portal. Of course, Yu Long doesn't need the mark to tell him what to do. Well, he's going to kill Hemer's god anyway. He did a few times already. One more is to end it forever. However, before Yu Long could move and launch his attack, a lone figure stepped out of the purple portal. Yu Long's body froze, and his golden eyes dilated. This. What are you doing here? A red-haired man stood in front of the portal. He had a heroic face and wore a futuristic-looking silver armor, glowing with divine aura. With his appearance, space and time twist and pull apart, warping around him. Above all else, Yu Long recognized this person right away. Ares. Yu Long uttered with a cold tone. The red-haired man tilted his head and stared at Yu Long. Hey! A native actually knows my name? It seems the other invasion has failed and leaked some confidentiality. Oh, well. This is fine. Ares smiled and crossed his arms arrogantly. I, Ares, the god of war, announce that this place will become the new Olympus. In the name of war, all lives should kneel before my sword. Ding! A gigantic red sword appeared in the sky and slashed down, burning the air with its mere presence. Yu Long clenched his fist emotionlessly, with a mere fire stick. You want to take my territory? You're fucking dreaming, you pissy leech. He punched the gigantic red sword and released unnatural physical strength. Boom! Kaka! The gigantic red sword shattered into fine red dust. Ares's face darkened. Who the hell are you? Your worst nightmare. Yu Long released an aura that he only used once on Dul Ahan. Far, far away. A star-sized gear moved, shifting the course of the universe into a new path. Lying in the void, a black-haired woman opens her eyes slightly and reveals an ash-like hue. She parted her trembling red lips in happiness. The king has made his appearance. Chapter 253, Ratio Concept and Interference. In Yu Long's previous life, countries crumbled, compelling humans to unite against mutated beasts, giving rise to the Human Alliance. However, scums always exist no matter what crisis they are in. While one side was busy saving humanity, the other selfish ones were using their powers for the worse. Those scums gathered, played, and wiped humans in cruel ways than the mutated beasts had ever done. Olympus is just one of many scum organizations. They played gods while laughing at the helpless people at the bottom, calling them mortals for having weak powers. They even dared to recruit Hayate once, but the former didn't take it kindly. Kaiju Maker doesn't work for anyone, so he obliterated the so-called Mount Olympus into dust and killed them all. Or so Yu Long thought. The red-haired man before the purple portal is Ares, the self-proclaimed god of war. From the feeling Yu Long gets, this scum of a man is very much alive. But how? How could Ares appear here? How could Ares appear in the primal chaos dimension? Brat, you're making me laugh. Ares chuckled coldly at Yu Long. My worst nightmare? You dare to play around with this god? Die, that's all you deserve. Oh, also. This guy has a severe god complex. 100 gigantic red swords similar to the previous one plastered the sky and caused everyone to freeze stiff on the ground. Everyone's eyes widened because this was beyond their level. Looking at this sight, Yu Long scoffed. He had to admit that this excuse of a human being is quite strong. Ares has the power to twist space and time around him, which allows him to wield quarks. The gigantic red swords were created by superheating the quarks and shaping them into swords. So, the heat wasn't normal. It could even burn the fabric of space and time. Still, the heat doesn't make Yu Long sweat. Yu Long lifted his left hand and made a hand sign. His pinky, ring, and thumbs folded in, permitting profound energy to combust inside his profound veins rapidly. Ares squinted his eyes. He found Yu Long's hand signs very familiar. According to the data reading, the universe we invaded would be one of the highest ever. However, this native doesn't only recognize me, but he also reminded me of that guy. Ares thought to himself. Wait, this aura. Ares's skin trembled, and all his hair stood up. Phoenix's cries echoed on the battlefield. Ka-a-a-a-a-a. A great red-winged beast spread its wings, flapping toward the starry sky. World Ode of the Phoenix, Taboo's first step, flaming meteor falls. The giant phoenix descended from the sky, bringing countless meteors down, each leaving gold-red trails. One alone could destroy a continent, but Yu Long didn't hold a bit against Ares. Ares was shocked. He has destroyed a few low-leveled stars in the primal chaos dimension, so he has quite a grasp on native's strength. This power rivals his power. He looked at Yu Long solemnly. Come, my chariot. He created a war chariot dragged by flaming horses toward Yu Long. Yu Long indifferently watched the meteors destroy Ares's gigantic red swords, leaving him with no paths to escape. Of course, there is one direct path. That's to attack Yu Long. Yu Long kicked the ground and ran forward with shadowy steps, causing a blur in the surroundings. 1,000, if not 10,000, of Yu Long appeared from thin air. Divine Strike! Ares waved his hand, producing a crimson lance. The lance is over 15 meters, radiating with killing intent. Yu Long ignored the lance and dodged it casually by tilting his body to the left before kicking the air. He clenched his right hand. Clench your teeth, scum! Ares instinctively opened his mouth because a mortal dared to order him around, but Yu Long squared his face immediately. You can't break my divine field. An invisible barrier always surrounded Ares's body, including his head. And who decides that? As if Yu Long could read Ares's thoughts, he kept punching anyway. Crack! Bam! The golden right hand punched Ares straight on the nose, breaking it with extreme physical force. Ultimate Gold could ignore one's defense, and its property proved effective against Ares, who depends too much on his innate ability. Boom! 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 Ares got sent flying, crashing into several trees, and breaking them. It was only then that a mountain could stop Ares from flying. Still, that mountain cracked and split in half. Everyone was frightened by Yu Long's power. Just one punch was enough to split the earth, leaving a deep ravine like that. Yu Long snorted, there is nothing perfect in this world. As long as I found the right ratio, that 7-3, your defense is meaningless. Many years have passed since Yu Long devised the picture of profound aspects. Of course, Yu Long didn't abandon them. After the seclusion, Yu Long doesn't have a chance to elevate profound aspects to a higher stage. Then, Shizu happened. She taught Yu Long many things from their link. Yu Long learned that the above aspects are concepts. Thus, the ratio concept was born alongside other concepts. Not only does the ratio concept guarantee 100% critical hits, but it also allows Yu Long to break any defense. Yes, whether they are tangible or not. Theoretically speaking, Yu Long could even break karma with it. Unfortunately, the ratio concept has yet to reach that stage. Yu Long nonchalantly walked to Ares, ignoring the shocked expression on others. The sickle-like insect arm tries to attack Yu Long, but he casually waves his hand, and Ani pounces on the insect's arm like a dog chewing toy. Boom! Ani tore the insect's arm, causing a rain of purple blood. Yu Long walked amidst the rain, untouched by it. His steps are full of arrogance and contempt, making one's heart tremble just hearing it. Ares struggled to get up. He felt his whole body was in pain. Even though Ares wore the latest stellar armor, he doesn't feel safe. That punch frightened him to the core, awakening a memory deep in his soul. Ares's bloodied face regenerated. He's still breathing heavily, though. He gazed at the young man, who had a dead calm expression. But what makes his soul shudder is those golden eyes. Those golden eyes might be different, but deep inside, that brilliance is true darkness, darker than any night and void. Ares stuttered, why you? You should have died in that cosmic storm. How could you still alive? Yu Long's lips curled into a wicked smile, so you recognized me, after all. You Olympus scums have never learned, hey. I thought destroying your base and killing Zeus were enough, but it seems I was too naive. I should have stripped you from existence and made you one of my kaiju. Ares paled like a white paper, this monster. This is not good. I have to run away. Think, Ares. Think. You can't let yourself be his kaiju, or it will be over. Yu Long stretched his left hand, and a suction force appeared, making Ares gasp. Wait, we can talk this out. I can tell you about the Gale Demoness and Shrine Maiden of Ao. Ares tried to compromise. Yu Long stopped for a second because the Gale Demoness and Shrine Maiden of Ao are the titles of his past life's lovers. But then, he continued using Kaiju Maker's power. When I turn you into the essence sphere, I will get the information. Now, be a good scum, and let me kill you. Yu Long smiled innocently. Ares's arm slowly turned into red particles, but something unexpected happened. An armored hand grabbed Yu Long's left hand, stopping him from turning Ares into pure essences. Yu Long glanced at the obsidian armored figure, so, you finally made your move, the Heavenly King of Greed. What's the matter? Are you also one of the scums? The Heavenly King of Greed stared at Yu Long silently before saying, you shouldn't. You shouldn't turn him into essence. He is a poison to you. Chapter 254, The Mysterious Heavenly King of Greed. He's poison to me. Yu Long frowned at the heavenly king of greed. Yu Long possessed perfect immunity against poison and could extract poison into essence particles using the Kaiju Maker. Heck! He could even turn poison into raw power if he wanted to. Additionally, he possessed the sky poison pearl that could purify any poison in heaven and earth. For the mysterious heavenly king to say such a thing, Yu Long would think he was speaking nonsense, but the former's act speaks louder because there was a possibility it was true. Yu Long stopped using Kaiju Maker. What do you mean by poison to me? The heavenly king of greed glanced at Ares and replied calmly, upon invading the primal chaos dimension, these invaders got cursed. They got inflicted with a soul-ridding curse and existence polarity curse. I know you're stronger than anyone here. However, if you turned him into essence and swallowed it or even turned him into a kaiju, you will be affected by the curses. Yu Long glanced at Ares and noticed his pale expression become dark and grim after the heavenly king of greed said that. So, it is true. He snorted, fine. I won't turn him into my kaiju. Ares sighed in relief, thinking he was safe from Yu Long. However, then. Yu Long suddenly grabbed his head and clenched hard. If you think you're safe, you're gravely mistaken. Yu Long said while using another concept. Concept of manifestation, profound handles 1,000,000-fold extrasensory and soul reading. Ares' painful cry echoed on the battlefield. Yu Long showed no mercy to his scum-like enemy, using the enhanced manifestation aspect from the Yun family's bloodline to delve into someone's soul. He didn't make it a smooth process, either. He makes sure Ares tastes every possible pain. Ares felt every bit of his soul get pricked by thorns, which also cured him with fiery salts. He also experienced several illusions and enhanced extrasensory, making the pain worse by 1,000,000 folds. The heavenly king of greed didn't stop Yu Long from interrogating Ares with such a method, calmly watching from the sideline. He lifted his hand off Yu Long's arm and peeked at the purple portal. You better hurry up. The one behind the Hemers will appear soon. He said, warning Yu Long. I know, you don't have to tell me. Yu Long snorted, and Ares fell into a pool of blood from his crying eyes. Soon, the self-proclaimed god of war crumbled into nothingness because of Yu Long's power. Since Ares has no use anymore, Yu Long killed him with the power of darkness. That's one less trash to worry about. It was a shame that Yu Long couldn't torture Ares more by making him into a kaiju, but whatever. He obtains enough information to understand why someone like him is in the primal chaos dimension. 10 years after Kurogami Hayate's sacrifice to prevent the cosmic storm, the world went into complete chaos. Even though the human alliance tried its best to contain the situation and eliminate the cause, things still fell off. Dark organizations appear one after another, followed by the invasion of other races. Left with no choices, the human alliance went to a complete offense and invaded other dimensions before otherworldly races could. The Gale Demonis led the human alliance, conquering 11 worlds and putting them under the name of Pangaea. And the Shrine Maiden of Ao governed Pangaea, the last front of humanity against the otherworldly creatures. Till now, Pangaea still stands firmly for 15 years. Which means it's been 25 years after Hayate's death. They even sent their experts to other dimensions, searching for resources and knowledge about the vast universes. Their situation isn't the best, but also not the worst. Humanity still thrives, but they are in constant war. But what makes Yu Long's blood boil more is the fact someone actually revived the people he killed and freed them into the vast universe. This person has never shown his face, but according to Ares' memory, he appeared out of nowhere and gathered forces to wipe the Pangaea forever. No matter how one sees it. It was a personal vendetta against Yu Long, or more precisely, the late Hayate. Yu Long brushed his hair back and sighed, I've made too many enemies, and it has become hard to remember them all. However, I always made sure to end them all for good. Not good enough, apparently. The heavenly king of greed commented casually. Yu Long glanced at him and replied, I've destroyed their bodies and souls. The heavenly king of greed chuckled eerily, you know that's not enough. To truly wipe your enemy, a mere soul crush isn't enough. You need to wipe them from existence, ripping their past, present, and future apart. You need to erase them to the conceptual level, leaving no dust behind. Like you did to Ares. Yu Long felt a deep familiarity from the heavenly king of greed and questioned, you sure know a lot about me. Do I know you? Pretty straightforward, eh? The heavenly king of greed replied with a mysterious chuckle. You never change. But this is not the time for you to know my identity. That person is coming. And she's more dangerous than Ares. Yu Long shrugged nonchalantly and moved his gaze to the purple portal, feeling Hymir's god from it. There was an additional presence, but he couldn't tell who it was. Yueli, tell everyone to retreat. He ordered the ice fairy afar. Chu Yueli nodded and brought everyone on Yu Long's side to a safer place. Soon, the remaining people are Yu Long, Heavenly Kings, Yun Kanghai, Fu Zhong, Chu Yueli, and Ani. The Heavenly King of Greed gazed around the Demon Star secret realm and commented, "Watch out for your back. Besides Stone and Song, there is one more Heavenly King you need to watch over. The Heavenly King of Star. He's an elusive beast who likes to look for opportunity in adversity. He's probably snooping around, looking for a chance to kill you." "Kill me?" Yu Long laughed at how funny that statement was. The Heavenly King of Greed shook his head. Star is only ranked 5th amongst the Heavenly Kings, but that's not because he was weak. I wouldn't look down on his assassination ability. He always caught one off guard in the most unexpected situation. Then, why did he want to kill me? Yu Long was confused. The Heavenly King of Greed stayed quiet before answering, because he was a psycho battle maniac. He wanted to kill those stronger than him in one hit. He doesn't care who they are. Small, big, male, female, he only wanted to feel glory in chaos. You showed off your might earlier, catching his attention. Yu Long's golden eyes gleamed. I'd like to see him try, then. Kaka. The purple portal expanded, creating more cracks in the sky. A gigantic beetle's head poked out and roared, shaking the air with electricity. Hymir's. Yu Long recognized the beetle immediately. This being was the god of Hymir's. But then, Yu Long noticed one more presence atop Hemerchias's head. A dark-robed woman stood on Hemerchias's head, wielding a staff with an ominous yellow gem. Ares died. The dark-robed woman scowled. I know he was incompetent. Why did the leader send him here anyway? Leader. Yu Long squinted his eyes because there were a few mentions of someone who led people like Ares to another world. Unfortunately, Ares never saw this leader's face or spoke with him directly. Oh, well. I will finish the job. The dark-robed woman pointed her staff at Yu Long. You should be the one who killed Ares, right? Enter our organization in exchange for Ares's life you took, and I will spare your poor existence. I will not ask twice. She added while ordering Hymir's to charge a world-destroying attack on its mouth, which caused purple energy to swirl grimly. Kaka. Crack. Before the dark-robed woman could say more, the Hemerchias's neck suddenly crumpled like a soda can. Boom. Hymir's blows up from the inside. Yu Long dug his ears lazily. Did you say something? You. The dark-robed woman's eyes widened. The Heavenly King of Greed watched this and sighed inside. You never change at all. You're really Hayate. Chapter 255, Church of Cows, Marriage Proposal? Even though Ares's filthy memory doesn't give Yu Long a picture of what happened after his death, he still gets enough knowledge to understand something some people might not know. For example, this dark-robed woman was Ares's teammate. They are from the Church of Cows, a dark organization from a high-level world called Cows World. Yet none of them probably know the Church of Cows' leader. The dark-robed woman, Anisha, is the holy priestess of Cows Church. She possessed Cows magic that could control minds and twisted desires to her delight. In fact, the resurrected Hymir's was under her control before Yu Long killed it. Hymir's was a living disaster through and through, but if you killed it quickly, the bug wouldn't have time to make a disaster and spread chaos. Unfortunately, not many people know about this and could achieve the same result before getting swarmed by Hymir's. Anisha stared at Yu Long in disbelief. She couldn't believe someone could kill the Hymir's that fast. Not even those in the secret holy court can kill Hymir's that quickly, as the god of Hymir's is simply too difficult to kill. She thought solemnly. Hemerchias's exoskeleton could negate physical and elemental damage, so how did he snap its neck and body from the inside? Anisha was confused. She and Ares arrived in this unknown dimension 10 days ago and learned some knowledge about the primal chaos dimension. But it seems they underestimated how powerful the natives were. Of course, they only destroyed some low-rank star realms and have yet to reach the middle-leveled star realms to spread Cows Church's influence. We have to assess our strategy before making more. The higher-rank star realm could destroy our lineups. Anisha thought to herself. Suddenly, Anish felt a touch on her shoulder. She froze and glanced to the left, finding Yulong pat on her shoulder like they knew each other. "Hello, there." Yulong asked with a smile. "Nice to meet you, Anisha. Chaos Church is an interesting organization for sure. Can you tell me how you guys entered the primal chaos dimension?" Anisha broke a bead of cold sweat. She was terrified because she couldn't sense Yulong's presence. He just appeared beside her like a ghost. The distance between them was a few kilometers, and Anisha couldn't sense anything amiss before Yulong patted her shoulder. Near a cracked mountain, the Heavenly King of Greed frowned inside his helmet because he didn't notice how Yulong teleported toward Anisha's side that fast. There is no spatial disturbance. No friction. Not even a movement. Yulong is like a ghost. He doesn't use Kaiju Maker, that's weird. The Heavenly King of Greed pondered about something. Everyone knows that Kaiju Maker has left traces all over the dimension, and each trace possesses a fraction of his power. In the Great Universal Complex, especially Pangaea, the Gale Demoness tried to prevent others from obtaining Kaiju Maker's power. She even declared war on many other worlds to claim her late lover's power, paving the path of blood. However, dark organizations like the Church of Cows don't care about her little intimidation. They have salvaged many godlike essence spheres, using them for their gains to create world-destroying monsters. Surprisingly, the Kaiju Maker himself has evolved beyond everyone's thought. Well, no one thought he could evolve as he already died. Yes, they also never thought of a chance of the Kaiju Maker getting reincarnated. The Oracle is right. The Heavenly King of Greed thought. Those who possessed the power to defy the very law of the universe wouldn't die that easily. Even though the cosmic storm about to hit Earth was at the level of creating a super cosmic black hole, he still survived. Back to Anish, who was sweating buckets, Yulong smiled kindly at her. "Hey, why don't you answer me?" Yulong poked her cheek playfully. Anisha paled. "We used reverse summoning circle. The leader and other holy elders used a large-scale reverse summoning circle to transfer us to this dimension. There is no real opening to this dimension yet." Yulong leaned his shoulder on Aisha's and asked again, "How many people does your church send here? Besides Ares, there should be more members of Olympus, right?" There are 5. Anisha answered fearfully. Snap! Anisha's finger twisted up, making her groan in pain. What happened? She was crying in confusion. "He didn't touch my finger, so how did he twist my finger?" Anish is the holy priestess from the Church of Cows. She has quite a pain resistance, but that pitiful pain resistance means nothing to the super extrasensory Yulong cast on her. Even a simple pinch would make her feel a heart attack if Yulong wasn't being merciful. Yulong chuckled, "A good girl shouldn't lie. I have Ares's memory, and we will mismatch information. You lied to me again, and I will snap your other fingers. Understand?" Anisha nodded frantically, "Why yes. How many members of Olympus are here?" 7, Ares included. Exclude Ares, he died. Who were they? Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, Hera, Athena, and Medusa. Continue. Besides the Olympus scums, how many people did the Church of Cows send? 13, me included. Are they as strong as you? Yes. They are also holy priests and priestesses like me. What is your goal coming here? And answer me as concisely as possible." Anisha gritted her teeth, to create a crack for Cow's World's invasion. "Do you know anything about the Azura race?" Yulong asked after some thoughts. They might have some information about Azura, who was about to invade Primal Chaos Dimension in a few years. They have red skin. Our red skin. Anisha's whole body trembled. How did the destroyers come to this dimension this fast? Yulong narrowed his eyes. The destroyers. Ares's memory struck Yulong's mind. The destroyers are a humanoid race with red skin and are so power-hungry and into carnage that the only thing that can satisfy them is bathing in their enemies' blood and endless slaughter. No one knows where they originated from. No one also knows what power they wield. But since the beginning of time, the destroyers have always been the sign of the universe's end. According to the legend, the Crimson Eye mark will appear and become the beginning of calamity. Yulong frowned, staring at the back of his right hand. Anisha also looked down and noticed the Crimson Eye mark on Yulong's right hand. She was scared beyond belief. "See Crimson Eye mark. You have Crimson Eye mark. You're the sign of calamity." Anisha becomes hysterical. Yulong scoffed, "Calamity your head." He grabbed Anisha's head and extracted her memory as he did to Ares, getting more information about Cow's world and many other things. Anisha screamed, but Yulong didn't care. A white light suddenly flashed and aimed at Yulong's heart. Stab. Cough. Anisha coughed a mouthful of blood. What? She stuttered in confusion. How did she get stabbed? Yulong indifferently stared at the humanoid lizard wielding a dagger made of star energy, which stabbed Anisha's chest. The humanoid lizard has a shocked expression. His sneak attack never failed. But the target somehow shifted. I assume you're the Heavenly King of Star. Yulong tossed Anisha aside as she crumbled into nothingness. Greed said you will try to kill me. But I didn't expect you to be this brave. And foolish, too. Do you think you can kill me? Yulong's aura went on a blast, causing the secret realm to shake violently. Run! The Heavenly King of Star immediately flashed, disappearing from Yulong's sight. Boom! Not far away, a pillar of golden flame abruptly rose to the sky. Little Demon Empress appeared, carrying a burnt lizard corpse like it was trash. She landed near Yulong and tossed the corpse to him. You owe this Empress now. Really, do you think I can't kill him myself? Yulong smirked at her. Little Demon Empress harumphed, humph, you dare to trick this Empress by playing weak. Nevertheless, you still owe me. That sounds like your problem. Yulong turned his back on Little Demon Empress and walked away. Go away, Huan Ki. You don't have the power to order me around. I already knew you've been watching from that mountain this whole time. You're waiting for a chance, and the Heavenly King of Star gives such a chance to your front door. It was fun to play around with you, but I don't have time to play around with you anymore. Little Demon Empress was about to chase Yulong. But when he called out her name, she froze. She clenched her hand tight because of this man. This man is something else. He possessed limitless power and authority that she didn't have. She longed for such power. Limitless power to defy all that exists. She gritted her teeth and said, "Marry me." Yulong's steps halted. What did you say? He gave her an incredulous look. There is no way the eccentric and proud Little Demon Empress says such a thing. You have seen me naked. So. Huan Ki bit her rosy lips till they bled and shouted, I said. Marry me. Chapter 256, Marriage. No, it's business engagement. Heavenly Demon Cult, Inner Garden. Yulong sat on the luxurious jade sofa and frowned slightly because of a black-dressed girl before him. The girl is none other than Little Demon Empress. Also known as Huan Ki, the only remaining member of the illusory demon royal family. Yulong must admit that Huan Ki's backstory is sad. But that doesn't mean this girl could demand a marriage from him. They stared at each other silently. Beside them, Yun Kanghai appeared out of nowhere and served tea to Huan Ki. He looks excited for some reason. Well, it was understandable. Yun Kanghai was one of the illusory demon royal family's vassals. The Yun family and Yun Kanghai have served the Huan family for years and generations, so seeing Huan Ki like this makes Yun Kanghai recall his good old days with the late demon emperor. However, Yun Kanghai also felt conflicted. He didn't know what to think about the unexpected marriage declaration made by the Little Demon Empress within the Demon Star secret realm. It was just too sudden. Still, the most annoyed person is probably Chu Yueli. She was ready to throw her hand and put the Little Demon Empress in her place because how dare a random woman ask her handsome master for marriage. Even then, Chu Yueli calmed down. She's standing behind Yulong and glaring at the Little Demon Empress with obvious displeasure on her beautiful face. Your Majesty. Yun Kanghai placed the teacup down for Little Demon Empress. Huan Ki stared at Yun Kanghai and said, Thank you, Kanghai. After this, you must have something to be given to me, right? Yun Kanghai was stunned before nodding his head solemnly, yes. Thank you for everything. Huan Ki's expression mellowed a little, though she wasn't smiling. She grabbed the teacup and sipped the tea calmly. After that, she looked up at Yulong and said, as I declared before. You must marry me. You've seen me bare, and that's enough offense to be responsible for. Yulong leaned on his sofa casually, I don't owe you anything. You're the one who consumed evergreen tree's dew and caused your clothes to burn entirely. It wasn't my mistake that my eyes accidentally saw some skins. So, you're admitting that you saw my body. Huan Ki smiled faintly at Yulong. Yulong smirked, that's where you are wrong. You're the one who told me not to move from my position. If I moved a muscle, You'd kill me? No. Huan Ki rolled her eyes. That's because you're concealing your strength, acting like a miserable alchemist. In these days and ages, who doesn't have a secret identity? Yu Long argued with her. Aren't men supposed to be gentlemen? Huan Ki struck the chord decisively. Yu Long scoffed, I'm a gentleman to my women, which you aren't. None of them wanted to retreat. Yun Kanghai broke a cold sweat because the little demon empress was testing Yu Long's limit. She should have seen how powerful the golden-eyed young man is, but she still is stubborn. Even Chu Yueli was a little speechless. Huan Ki sighed, you're not giving up, hey. Why should I? Yu Long straightforwardly gazed at Huan Ki's eyes. It seems I really have no other choice. Huan Ki stood up, making Chu Yueli frown. What is this crazy girl trying to do? Chu Yueli thought weirdly. Huan Ki stretched her hand to Yun Kanghai, and the latter immediately understood the assignment. Yun Kanghai reached for his sleeve and showed a small jade seal with a three-legged fiery bird carved at the top. The seal glowed with a fiery red aura. He handed the seal to Huan Ki, the rightful owner of the seal. Chu Yueli narrowed her eyes a little because she felt an intense bloodline reaction from the jade seal. Her bloodline is that of altered fire phoenix's bloodline, which makes her sure the seal is related to mythical beasts similar to phoenixes. Yu Long, who has read Against the God, recognizes this seal. It is the infamous Demon Emperor's seal, which Yun Kanghai well hid in the original story until his unfortunate death. Huan Ki stared at the fiery Demon Emperor's seal with an emotional look because this was supposed to be her inheritance upon taking the throne. But it disappeared alongside Yun Kanghai for hundreds of years. Demon Emperor and Little Demon Emperor shouldn't have left this world that early, but fate really works differently than one's belief. Huan Ki felt a connection between her bloodline and the seal. She stared at Yu Long and said, I know you are coming here intending to take over the illusory demon realm. As the ruler of this continent, I won't give up my homeland. But we can make it easier through marriage. Even if it's just for the sake of formality. Unless you're choosing the difficult and tiresome path where both sides fought till the end. From Kanghai's words, you appreciated not wasting your time on useless things. Marrying me will make things easier. She smiled at Yu Long. Yu Long's eyelid twitches, what a fox. What Huan Ki said is indeed correct. Yu Long prefers not to waste his time, especially when threats like the Church of Cows in Olympus have shown themselves in the primal chaos dimension. But Yu Long is also a man with principles. He breathed in and said, not enough. I don't know why you are so indigent in marrying me, but you must have ulterior motives. In these days and ages, who doesn't have ulterior motives? Huan Ki used Yu Long's words to rebuke him. Yun Kanghai was speechless. Is this the little demon empress he knew? If the situation weren't so tense, Yun Kanghai would rub his eyes and pinch his cheek to see if this was real. Cheeky, aren't you? Yu Long commented lightly. Huan Ki maintained a calm and amused look, I'm learning a lot from you. We can lower the stakes since you're so adamant. You only have to be engaged with me. You're really looking for a loophole, hey? Yu Long pinched the bridge of his nose. On top of that, I will allow you to enter Golden Crow's Lightning Flame Valley with me. Huan Ki finally dropped her best offer. She knew Yu Long wouldn't be interested in anything other than this. Yu Long closed his eyes, thinking about the pros and cons of accepting Huan Ki's relentless attempts to marry him. Golden Crow, though. It's a divine beast at the same level as Yuan. A few seconds later, Yu Long opened his eyes and said, before I agree, you must answer this question. Huan Ki's eyes lit up, sure. You know you won't get my affection with this trick, right? I know. I'm not trying to win your affection because I know you have many women, some even more beautiful and stronger than me. What I want is prosperity and serenity for my homeland. Yu Long nodded understandingly because a ruler like Huan Ki must prioritize her people. They called her a tyrant but didn't understand the very position she was in. The pressure she endured for hundreds of years. You can think of this as a diplomatic business relationship. Huan Ki said all of a sudden. Yu Long was stunned and then laughed, what a weird way of saying it. Still, you're right. It is a business. So, it's a deal. Huan Ki calmly stared at Yu Long, asking for confirmation. Yu Long smiled helplessly, yes. You've got yourself a deal. Yun Kanghai. Chu Yueli. How did it end up like this? Chu Yueli was baffled. Chapter 257, Crimson Eye marks origin. Watching Huan Ki leave with Yun Kanghai, Yu Long leaned on his sofa and couldn't help but sigh. She didn't offer much to the table, but Yu Long preferred not to busy himself with illusory demon realm right now. As Huan Ki said, making unnecessary problems isn't something Yu Long wants. Master, those two people earlier. Chu Yueli suddenly mentioned Aries and Anisha. Yu Long glanced at Chu Yueli. The annoying guy is a scum I know from my previous life. As for the woman, she was a nun from an organization called the Church of Cows. He didn't bother to hide such information from Chu Yueli because he knew he could trust her. Chu Yueli's expression turned solemn. The primal chaos dimension is becoming more chaotic. Yes. Yu Long nodded in agreement. But don't worry, you're strong enough to handle a guy like Aries. As long as you reach the divine origin realm, you shouldn't have a problem killing a man of his caliber. Chu Yueli smiled. I'm not that level yet, but soon. I want to see if I can emulate the desperado state that Hong Guan and Su Miling experienced. If I can achieve it in a few tries, I'd give up and choose the normal method instead. You're not confident? Yu Long asked, trying to see Chu Yueli's burning spirit. Chu Yueli shook her head gently. From what Hong Guan explained, she went through a series of enlightenments. Such a case only occurred with a proper accumulation and chance. I know my limit. You're cold-headed. Yu Long commented in amusement. Chu Yueli giggled, for you, I'm willing to be a little ice fairy. Also, you've been spying on us for a while now. Why don't you show yourself? Impressive. A calm voice echoed in the hidden garden. Someone besides the Kaiju Maker senses me. It seems my ability has rusted slightly. Heavenly King of Greed appeared in his full obsidian armor, sitting on the seat opposite Yu Long. He poured the tea into the gap of his helmet and said, delicious. That quenches my thirst. Yu Long didn't mind the Heavenly King of Greed's sudden appearance. He had always been aware of the mysterious fellow's presence. He stared at him. You come here for something, right? I'm coming for that, actually. The Heavenly King of Greed pointed at the crimson eye mark on the back of Yu Long's right hand. Yu Long glanced at the crimson eye mark. Tempest said you also have a similar mark. King's mark, was it? The Heavenly King of Greed nodded while patting his chest. Yes, I have one here, but I won't show it to you. Different people have different king's mark. Yours is quite an unorthodox one. Is that so? Yu Long was nonchalant. I also heard that Nun Anisha told me this mark was the sign of disaster from destroyers. The Heavenly King of Greed became quiet after Yu Long said that. He seems to think deeply about something. After a while, the Heavenly King of Greed poured himself a tea again and said, what that nun said is partially correct. The king's mark indeed comes from the destroyers. However, calling the sign of disaster is inaccurate. One must experience trials to become a king. The trial can be random events, disaster, or even a blessing to test and temper one's character. Yu Long squinted his eyes and thoughtfully rubbed his chin. Have you experienced the so-called trial? I'm currently in my trial. The Heavenly King of Greed replied mysteriously. Yu Long rolled his eyes. Of course, you do, smartass. I've started thinking the way you act is similar to an annoying friend I had. So, what is the catch behind the king's mark? The Heavenly King of Greed becomes quiet again and answers, to be honest, I also don't know. Yu Long. Then, why are you trying to act mysterious? The pause is so unnecessary. Feeling Yu Long's stern gaze, the Heavenly King of Greed waved his hand and added, I don't know, but I've heard some rumors from other king's mark bearers. Others? Yu Long frowned. There are more king's mark bearers beside us. The Heavenly King of Greed nodded, yes, including you and me. There are 11 other king's mark bearers. I only knew 4 of them personally. Those 4 have experienced multiple trials, so they understood this matter more than me. Thus, they researched and found we, 13 king's mark bearers, connected to a prophecy. Come on, a prophecy now. Yu Long couldn't help but complain. Right? What a shocker. The Heavenly King of Greed sighed hopelessly. The prophecy is called 13 Days War in the Destroyer's history record. They would mark 13 outsiders called 13 kings and had war with each of them. The winner takes all, and the destroyers would become a lesser voice in your faction. However, in the history record, there is no record of the 13 outsiders winning. Each of their kingdoms gets utterly wiped out by the destroyers. Yes, your universe is at stake. He gave Yu Long some time to think. On the other hand, Yu Long couldn't help but sigh in his heart because the fate ancestor Yeshiu talks about is really avoidable. Fighting the Asuras is within the contract already. But this also makes Yu Long confused. The destroyers detected karma, samsara, fate, and destiny to connect through all realms. If they are really that powerful, the so-called prophecy is just a planned entertainment for them. Yu Long didn't dare to look down on unknown enemies. How long until the 13 Days War started? Yu Long asked after thinking about the imminent danger. The Heavenly King of Greed awkwardly froze, that. I also don't know. You're unreliable as fuck. Yu Long cursed at him. You're reminding me of someone, after all. The Heavenly King of Greed broke a cold sweat. Ho ho, I wonder who that person is. I hope he's as handsome as me. Chu Yueli, who had been quiet, suddenly asked, the trial. Will my master get sent to a random place like you? Because I don't think you're from around here. The Heavenly King of Greed thanked Chu Yueli for diverting the topic and answered, the answer is no. I don't get randomly sent to my trial as I chose to be here. I chose this place because I knew the Kaiju Maker would be here. You can choose. Chu Yueli was surprised. The Heavenly King of Greed nodded, the destroyers obviously like a challenge. They wouldn't interfere with your growth and wished you to become as strong as possible. People called them maniacs, but they honored a straightforward battle and loved iron blood rules. Given that you're so strong already, I think your first trial will be in 5 to 7 days. He added while staring at Yu Long. At that time, your King's Mark will issue a task that helps your growth. It can range from improving your innate ability, raising your cultivation base and weapon mastery, to building an army of your own. That's interesting. Yu Long tapped the table with his finger. Then, what is your trial's content? Sorry, it's a secret. The Heavenly King of Greed answered with an amusement in his voice. You are really unreliable. Yu Long didn't bother to hide his irritation. The Heavenly King of Greed stood up and walked away. You don't have to worry much about the trials. But you should watch out for the iron blood laws. Those are scary things. Well, see you soon, Kaiju Maker. With that, the Heavenly King of Greed vanished from the hidden garden. Yu Long clenched his hand in annoyance, that bastard. He didn't tell me what the iron blood laws are. How am I supposed to know what I'd face in the trial? Ha! Let me massage your shoulders, master. Chu Yueli said to lift some stress off Yu Long. Yu Long smiled bitterly, please, do your best, Yueli. I think I will get a headache at this point. Chapter 258, Shizu's Advices. Yu Long felt refreshed after Chu Yueli massaged his shoulders. He didn't know she was this skilled in massaging technique. When Yu Long praised Chu Yueli, she told him it was Shizu's technique, and she only learned it recently. That maid sure knows almost everything. Yu Long commented out of sheer disbelief. Of course I do. Shizu appeared from thin air, landing on the floor near Chu Yueli. Greeting and good evening, master. She winked at Yu Long. You too, Yueli. Yu Long stared at Shizu and asked, are you here to tell me about the invasion, too? Shizu shook her head gently and replied, the invasion won't be much of a challenge for you. The problem lies within Asura or Destroyer's higher lineups. You know about them? To a certain degree, yes. Ever since my failed reincarnation plan, my memory is messy. When I was still the ancestral goddess, many forces tried to enter the primal chaos dimension and create havoc. I, the sole observer and ruler, made a straightforward decision and sealed the primal chaos dimension from those influences. In fact, my remaining ancestral will should be somewhere in the primal chaos dimension to prevent the higher influence from passing through. The weaker ones already passed, but they aren't strong enough to threaten those in the Divine King realm. This. And you didn't tell me. Yu Long frowned in displeasure. Shizu bitterly patted her forehead, sorry. It's not that I don't tell you, master. It's more like I can't tell you before the right time. Being able to see more is sometimes more of a curse instead of a blessing. Once again, please forgive me. She looked at him earnestly. As your maid, I can only assist you from the shadows. I had to obey some rules so this universe wouldn't get destroyed before the eventful time. Yu Long sighed, whatever. Given how things are going, there is no need for additional preparation. I will only do things quickly and finish some projects ahead of time. We will break the crisis forcibly when it comes. Shizu clapped, it's good that you're taking this positively. As expected of my master, you're ready for all kinds of situations. By the way, have you met one of the king's mark bearers? You know the answer is yes. Why bother to ask? Yulong gave Shizu a weird look. For once, Shizu put on a troubled look. Shizu sighed, it's for the sake of formality. Just think of it as a habit from my first life. At the time, I was the only being in the newly born primal chaos dimension. You'd start monologuing to yourself when you're the only being who ever existed in the primeval era. Yulong was speechless. Your soul is so strong, a weird habit traveled to your reincarnations. I don't know if I should be impressed or worried. I'll be happy if you're worried. Shizu cheekily smiled at him. Yulong flicked Shizu's forehead, don't get ahead of yourself. Just tell me what you want to tell. Ouch. Shizu rubbed her forehead with a pained look. The flick didn't harm Shizu. It was painful for a second, though. It's like an accidental zap from a stretched rubber band. Shizu pouted, that's so mean. Yulong stretched his hand again, and Shizu hurriedly retreated. Ahem, so anyway. Shizu cleared her throat. I'm here to warn you about a few things. First of all, the Heavenly King of Greed should have explained about the King's Mark. He was telling the truth. Master, you're the 13th king and the possessor of Rudra King's Mark, making you the bearer of Howler. Howler's power focused on destruction, making you one of the strongest kings. You can experiment with it yourself. Next is Iron Blood Laws. They are one of the Oldian laws, formed from the continuous slaughter of destroyers' victims, which could bind one's destiny and fate to endless fighting. It has no physical restriction on oneself, but you were obligated to accept any battle, whether small or big. To put it simply, it was resentment. Once you reject a fight, you will be marked as a coward and less than a worm. This status weakens your virtue and karma. You will get shunned by the destroyers, and the world you lived in will suffer utter destruction. Yulong stared at the King's Mark and mumbled, resentment, hey. Shizu nodded and continued, the destroyers have wiped countless lives, and your job as one of the kings is to avenge them. Last but not least, the king's trials. I'm sure the Heavenly King of Greed told you not to worry about it, and he's right. The king's trial is more like training. It builds your nature as a king. Given how you always composed yourself so far, your nature as a king is obvious, so worrying about it is futile. Just keep walking like you used to and live as you always are. I see. Yulong finally understood. Do you know the Heavenly King of Greed's identity? Shizu shook her head bitterly, normally, I can't see through his armor. As long as he wore that obsidian armor, I can't calculate his identity. One thing for sure, he's your ally. Actually, you should worry more about the little demon empress, Huan Ki. She casually dropped a bomb of wariness. Yulong's expression darkened, what do you mean? Shizu giggled, Huan Ki is a very stubborn woman. She'd do her best to make you fall in love with her. Hehe, that's one more harem member to handle. Yulong. Seeing Yulong's blank face, Shizu was satisfied and waved her hand while disappearing into the void. Good luck, master. That woman. Yulong stared at the empty floor dumbly. Chu Yueli witnessed this and couldn't help but smile. If what Shizu said is true, she would do her best to repel that fox-like woman from Yulong. Shizu walked on a spatial passage and glanced back. During the crisis, you must endure some bad memories. Master, your Kaiju Maker is Primal Chaos Dimension's biggest hope to reach a higher stage. I hope you can develop Kaiju Maker past that realm and bring the new epic as the king. Unfortunately, my ancestral will scattered all over or else. No, there is no use in regretting my decision, Shizu mumbled. True nothingness. Let's see if Linger can wield it. With that in mind, the former ancestral god walked away. Heavenly Demon Cult, Yun Kanghai's room. Huan Ki sat on the stone chair and gazed at Yun Kanghai calmly, Yun Kanghai, good job. Even though you can't save them and bring disaster to your family, I can see how sincere you are to the illusory demon royal family. Past is past, present is present. Bringing the demon emperor's seal here. I will treat the Yun family in high regard and give them every resource, including the ones I held in the last few hundred years. Thank you, little demon empress. Yun Kanghai kneeled on the ground. If possible, I want to tell you about something. Huan Ki raised her brows, what is it? Yun Kanghai's murderous intent flashed, the truth about the demon emperor and little demon emperor's death. Huan Ki's body froze. Kanghai, you. Please listen to me first, little demon empress. I think I know who betrayed and backstabbed the demon emperor. This person is also the same person who killed the little demon emperor on the night of your wedding before sending his corpse to the four great sacred grounds. Huan Kai gripped the edge of her seat tightly, and the stone cracked under her strength. Kanghai, I already know. You already knew. Yun Kanghai was shocked. Huan Kai indifferently looked up, it's Duke Ming. I've traced everything back to him. However, I didn't kill him because the illusory demon realm will fall into chaos. I must know people who supported him first before killing their tumor-like existence forever in one swoop. At the same time, Duke Ming also gathered power in the shadows. Recently, he has become quite brave. What's he planning? Yun Kanghai is mad. Huan Kai stared at the demon emperor's seal and answered, what else? He wanted to enter Golden Crow's lightning flame valley and evolve his bloodline. I'm sure the source of his confidence is the demonic cores. Unfortunately for him. Huan Kai's aura flared, and a wind elemental spirit danced around her. I've come prepared. Prepare yourself, Kanghai. We will drag Duke Ming to hell crawling. Chapter 259, Another Scum, Poseidon's Arrival. The next day, Yulong stretched his body and walked out of his bedroom. He was busy experimenting with his king's mark for an entire night. Even then, it was a bountiful harvest. He stared at the red mark on the back of his right hand. I think I get the hang of it now. Rudra, the Howler. As Yulong finished his words, the king's mark lit up with dim red light. He felt another boost on his body and smiled because this ability was neat. It didn't clash with Kaiju Maker and even showed a sign of synergy. Of course, Yulong has to see if the synergy went well with more experiments. Master. A voice greeted Yulong. Yulong glanced back and saw Yona holding a tray of porridge. It looks like chicken porridge and is edible. Staring at Yona's hopeful expression, Yulong could only grab the spoon and taste the porridge. Surprisingly, it tastes okay. It's not the best porridge Yulong had, for sure. But good enough for his sensitive tongue. Remember, Yulong's 5 senses are enhanced and very sharp. Yulong looked down on Yona's fingers and noticed some wrapped in bandages. His mouth twitched slightly because Yona's body could instantly heal. After all, he made it that way. However, how much effort did Yona put this much effort into making the porridge and get injured like this? It tastes good. Yulong praised her. Really? Yona beamed happily. Yes. Yulong, give the porridge another try. Not far away, Xiao Lingzi smiled faintly and looked like a proud mother who had taught her daughter how to cook for the first time. She has bandaged here and there, getting it because Yona clumsily prepared chickens. Fortunately, Xiao Lingzi didn't get seriously injured. Chu Yueli leaned on the wall near Xiao Lingzi and said, you know you're helping your competitor, right? Lady Chu. Xiao Lingzi was startled. She was flustered and fumbled with her movement, nearly falling to the floor. She nervously stared at Chu Yueli. I don't think helping someone in need is wrong. Yona only wanted to be a better cook. So, I decided to teach her a little. Chu Yueli sighed, you're too kind. Anyway, I'm here not to criticize you. I'm here to see how much progress you made. Xiao Lingzi sighed in relief when listening to Chu Yueli's words, but the second part made her freeze on the spot like a statue. What? Don't tell me you haven't made much progress after I left you for the Demon Star secret realm. Chu Yueli frowned, making Xiao Lingzi panic. Xiao Ling looked away. I made some progress. However, I didn't think it was right. Nothingness Sutra felt familiar to me for some reason. My cultivation base hasn't increased much. Yet I can feel this weird aura of nothingness. She added weakly. Chu Yueli narrowed her eyes, aura of nothingness. Xiao Lingzi nodded and replied, I think it has something to do with my profound art and veins. For example. Xiao Lingzi raised her palm and made Chu Yueli frown because she felt a faint energy swirling above her palm. It was not tangible or visible to the naked eye. That is weird. Chu Yueli pondered a bit. I don't think this was the nothingness master mentioned to me. Then, it must be void qi. It seems you have completely saturated your profound energy and turned it into void qi, which is quite strong. Xiao Lingzi's eyes lit up. Does that mean I can become stronger as I keep refining this energy? Chu Yueli flicked Xiao Lingzi's forehead, mimicking what Yulong had done to Shizu yesterday. Obviously, no. You are only at the stage of refining energy. You don't even know how to wield it. Think about it. Can you kill someone with a glass of water? No. Xiao Lingzi answered weakly. Chu Yueli nodded, that's exactly your problem. Your knowledge of the profound way in martial arts is zero. In this world, people like you die faster than anyone else. You're a complete novice. Xiao Lingzi felt depressed. Chu Yueli shook her head gently, being a newbie isn't bad. Unlike me, who taught about those fields from a young age, my path has been decided. It's hard for me to change my path. Think of it as a habit. Even with the help of my master, I was only able to make my path better and not change it completely. So, I have to find my path. Xiao Lingzi tilted her head. Everyone does. Chu Yueli replied calmly. Xiao Lingzi pumped her fist and said, I will do my very best to master Void Qi. That's the spirit, I guess. Chu Yueli let out a chuckle. What are you two discussing about? Yulong walked toward them with the finished porridge bowl. Behind him, Yona looks satisfied that her master finished her food. Chu Yueli smiled, it's nothing. Let me take that bowl and bring these two to the training ground. Have a nice day, master. After taking the bowl, Chu Yueli dragged Xiao Lingzi and Yona away, leaving Yulong alone in the hallway. Yulong shrugged, I might as well look for Camilla. That girl has been anxious after not seeing her mother for a day. With that in mind, Yulong was about to check the sky poison pearl, but he quickly sensed a spatial disturbance above the plane of solitude. He frowned because an unpleasant presence was coming from it. It is the same presence that Ares had. Which one of the scums disturbed my turf this time? Yulong teleported out, standing on the plane with Ani. It seems the Ichthyosaurus Kaiju also sensed the presence. Ani had a marlin in her hand and ate it like caveman meat. Master, I can smell the scent of sea from this person. Scent of the sea, hey. Yulong stared at the white crack that appeared above the plane. I think I know who'd come here. I bet it's the fucking merman. A jet stream of water burst out from the white crack, making sea water flood the plane of solitude. Fortunately, Fu Zhong put many arrays in the area, allowing Yulong to twist the ground and divert the water away. The sound of popping bubbles invaded the world, and a slender figure appeared. A merman appeared with his blue-scaled fish bottom half and a lean upper half. He also has similarly blue hair, falling to his waist. Boom! Waterfall crashed to the ground. Who killed Ares? Show yourself! The merman roared at them. Yulong dug his ears, so fucking noisy. I'm the one who killed that scum. You bastard! The merman conjured a trident with the power of sea and gravity, making everything around him 100 times heavier. Yulong calmly crossed his arms as if the gravity pressure didn't exist and mocked, do you have a problem with it, Poseidon? Ah, are you mad that your best friend died? You never change at all. You're so mad when I killed Ares for the first time. Who are you? Poseidon was baffled. Besides the gods of Olympus, none should know about such a matter. Yes, no one. Beside one person. Poseidon's eyes widened as he looked at Ani and felt a familiar Kaiju's presence from her. Then, he looked at Yulong in horror, you. You are supposed to be dead. No, wait. You don't have that halo anymore. Poseidon pointed his trident at Yulong. You probably haven't recovered your full strength while I've become stronger than my past self. Good, I will kill you and take the Kaiju Maker's power away. His azure eyes flashed with killing intent and endless greed. This fish guy is delusional. Ani thought to herself. 1001 Days Atlantis. Poseidon summoned the world of the deep sea, causing the whole plane of solitude to enter a gigantic ball of water. Swoosh! Shing! Boom! Yulong was about to raise his finger when a sharp aura exploded and tore the gigantic water ball into two. A pair of white-blue eyes opened, revealing the profoundness of heavy sword. She has woken up. Chapter 260, Chu Yueshan vs Poseidon. A howl echoed in the plane of solitude. Poseidon frowned and focused on the ancient-looking ship, which shone with primordial light. His eyes locked on the beautiful white-haired woman in a clean blue robe, wielding an icy blue broadsword in her flawless left hand. This woman. A native, she actually sliced my 1001th day Atlantis. He mumbled solemnly. How is that even possible? The other natives weren't even capable of reaching my coat. Chu Yueshan opened her eyes and gazed at Poseidon indifferently as she was aware of her surroundings after falling into that mysterious state of epiphany. She was comprehending what she deemed the orthodox heaven-slaying sword intent, the pinnacle of heavy sword. She was close to tapping into that ideal realm. However, she couldn't stay idle when someone dared to say he wanted to kill her master. For once in Chu Yueshan's life, she was angry. No, she was furious. Chu Yueshan might look calm outside, but rage is boiling in her cold blood. She gazed at Poseidon like he was a dead piece of meat. Poseidon doesn't like Chu Yueshan's gaze. You lowly creature dare to look God with such eyes. I will pluck those eyes and feed them to my fish. Come, Megalodon. A jet black shark appeared and opened its jaw, breaking out of the blue portal behind Poseidon. The shark is over 50 meters long with a massive body and sharp teeth. Chu Yueshan lifted her finger, and the heavy sword Yulong entrusted to her soared to the sky. The Song of Broken Pines is a heavy sword Yulong made when fighting 3 elders of the mighty heavenly sword region, but he has actually never been its owner. It was Chu Yueshan. She was the one who took care of the Song of Broken Pines and nurtured it with her sword intent, profound energy and essence blood, developing its spirituality of that heavenly grade weapon. In fact, the Song of Broken Pines has undergone qualitative changes in Chu Yueshan's hand. Calling it an early-stage divine weapon won't be far-fetched. Heavenly Snow Supreme Sword. Chu Yueshan's eyes shone with a dim blue light. First move, heavenly. Swoosh. The Song of Broken Pines released intense cold light and swung down by itself, charging an energy slash at Poseidon's Megalodon. Poseidon felt the threatening outcome and waved his hand, sending a sea wave crashing into the void slash. But soon, Poseidon realized how grave of a mistake it was to take Chu Yueshan's attack head-on. As soon as the sea wave hit Chu Yueshan's energy flash, Poseidon only had one thought in mind. So heavy. Kaboom! The energy slash broke through the sea wave and swept over Megalodon, turning into mincemeat. Poseidon's hair stood up because that was such a frightening attack. He looked down at Chu Yueshan again. The other star realms don't have a person like you. Such an anomaly. Or maybe I'm just visiting the wrong places. But this isn't enough to defeat me. Poseidon's body released a frightening aura that caused the surrounding body of water to shake violently. A higher gravity pressure descended on the plane of solitude, causing mountains to crack and the sky to falter. Chu Yueshan felt her body become immensely heavier. She stared at her finger and commented, Heavenly Snow Supreme Sword. Second move, Snow. Freezing waves hit the plane of solitude, causing snowfall to appear. This snowfall looks weird as each snowflake carries Chu Yueshan's sword intent that slays through Poseidon's gravity control. At the same time, Poseidon also felt sharp pain in his head. Sword intent isn't only sharp. It also affected those with weaker minds. Poseidon pulled his trident and clashed with Chu Yueshan's sword intent, creating invisible sparks. A carriage made of water manifested, carried by 12 sea dragons. 12 days of destruction. He swung his trident, causing the 12 sea dragons to run toward Chu Yueshan. Chu Yueshan waved her finger again, manipulating the snowflakes to hit the sea dragons. Roar! Slash! She successfully slashed 11 sea dragons in half, but one successfully passed through her snowflakes. Boom! The sea dragon hit the primordial profound arc, shaking it a little. Chu Yueshan looked at the primordial profound arc and decided to fly away as she didn't want to damage her master's flying vessel. Poseidon and Chu Yueshan gazed at each other, separated by half a mile in the sky. Battle intense soared as Chu Yueshan held the Song of Broken Pines, and Poseidon's trident lit up with golden light. The first one to make a killing move will win. Such a thought flashed in Poseidon and Chu Yueshan's minds. Thus, Chu Yueshan drew her sword decisively. Poseidon wasn't slow either. Third move, Supreme. Red Sea. A gigantic manifestation of the Song of Broken Pines appeared, racing to Poseidon. It was moving beyond the speed of sound. The sea water around Poseidon turned red like blood, sending a high-pressure jet stream at the gigantic sword. Boom! Poseidon's eyes widened because his Red Sea was utterly defeated in the head-on confrontation. Every sword move Chu Yueshan made was too heavy, yet she acted like it was as light as a feather. The gigantic sword broke the Red Sea and aimed straight at Poseidon. It's 2 times bigger than Poseidon's Megalodon. Poseidon flicked his tail and swung his trident, wanting to deflect Chu Yueshan's sword. However, it was such a foolish decision. It's like an ant trying to stop a moving car. Boom! Crack! Poseidon's arm shattered upon impact, and the sword glided through his left shoulder, separating his arm from his body. Arg. Chu Yueshan's sword intent invaded Poseidon's body like a curse. Normally, Poseidon could regenerate any lost limb with the power of the ocean, but with the sword intent there, he couldn't even muster the strength to use his power. Not to mention, this whole experience is extremely painful. Poseidon felt his whole body, soul, and spirit chopped to pieces. He also felt a chill sensation colder than Tartarus. He gritted his teeth and roared, which sounded like a scream of 10,000 mermaids. Chu Yueshan's soul shook for a moment, stunned. Poseidon's trident appeared before her eyes, very close to piercing her head. Die! Poseidon's voice laced with deep killing intent. Unfortunately, the trident never moved far. It just stopped 5 centimeters from Chu Yueshan's eyes. Poseidon couldn't believe his eyes. His ultimate attack got stopped just like that. Chu Yueshan's eyes transformed into that of a wolf. Wolf's ears also appeared on top of her head, and feathered wings on her back. Why you stop time? Poseidon becomes crazed by this fact. Chu Yueshan indifferently slapped the trident away from her face. You can freeze space and time with enough power. You're simply too weak. Chu Yueshan has freezing void Lupongriff's bloodline, allowing her to literally freeze void. It played a role in her epiphany when she traveled through a space tunnel, which made her learn more about her bloodline power on top of the sword intent. Like the coward he is, Poseidon uses all his powers to run away from Chu Yueshan. A blue portal appeared and tried to swallow the merman, but how could Chu Yueshan allow it to happen? This bastard dared to say he wanted to kill Yulong. It was blasphemous to Chu Yueshan. Before the blue portal could swallow Poseidon, Chu Yueshan swung the Song of Broken Pines with all her might and created a straight white line across the sky, passing through the blue portal and Poseidon. Heavenly Snow Supreme Sword, 5th move. Instantaneous white flash. Poseidon's face was that of fear. The white line appeared in the middle of his body, slicing him in half. Soon, his trash-like body fell, soiling the earth. The blue portal was also slashed by Chu Yueshan, shattering into white particles. A lone goddess with a blue sword in hand floated in the sky calmly, killing the so-proclaimed god indifferently. In fact, she doesn't show much expression. It's like she was killing a pest instead of a powerful entity. Above all else, she looks beautiful as snowflakes fly by. Chapter 261, Making a Move. Yulong stared at the sky with amazement on his face. It was clear he was shocked by Chu Yueshan's display of power. For Chu Yueshan to kill Poseidon like that means she possessed the power to clash with Olympus directly. What kind of sword intent did Chu Yueshan comprehend exactly? Still, Yulong was happy for Chu Yueshan because she had enough power to protect herself now, especially in this dangerous time when other dimensions invaded the primal chaos dimension. Yulong's nose twitched slightly as Chu Yueshan's mere presence caused the surrounding area to have this scent of freshness, like that morning after a snowy night. This scent couldn't help but make Yulong smile. Chu Yueshan sighed and looked down, finding Yulong smiling at her. His handsome face penetrated deep into her heart because that was the man she loved and swore to protect. There is a faint redness in her snowy white cheeks. She hurriedly composed herself and descended from the sky. She didn't greet Yulong first, though. She went to Poseidon's sliced corpse first and sealed it into an ice block. After that, Chu Yueshan teleported to Yulong's side and kneeled while putting the corpse down. "Master, I've slayed your enemy," she said calmly. Yulong nodded, "Good job. It seems your harvest this time wasn't small." Chu Yueshan shook her head and replied, "It's nothing to be proud of. I'm still weaker than you, master. Don't be humble. Check Ani, she looks at you warily." Yulong chuckled as the Ichthyosaurus kaiju hid behind him because she smelled danger from Chu Yueshan. This woman. She's dangerous and sharp. Ani's nose twitched. At first, Chu Yueshan saw Ani's wary expression and tilted her head in confusion because the Ichthyosaurus kaiju shouldn't be afraid of her. Then, she realized what was wrong and quickly suppressed her sword intent. Ani's furrowed brows eased, not sharp anymore. Soon, several people came out from the Earth Dragon Enclave and walked to Yulong. Chu Yueli, Fu Zhong, Yun Kanghai and Huan Ki are staring at Chu Yueshan with different emotions. Huan Ki and Yun Kanghai were appalled. They didn't expect Yulong to have such an expert on his side, and they had been under their radar for so long. Yun Kanghai has known Chu Yueshan recently, but he didn't expect her to be this strong. Fu Zhong was confused because Chu Yueshan must have joined them late as he couldn't remember a person in the Shadow Realm with such a might of sword intent. Surprisingly, Chu Yueli was the calmest of the four. She stared at her older sister with a stoic expression on her face. After all, Chu Yueli has expected this to happen. She stared at Chu Yueshan. My sister is talented, and becoming master's servant granted her a chance to climb higher than ever. If she couldn't show her worth, she wouldn't be staying on master's side. Maybe it's time for that. Chu Yueli walked to Chu Yueshan. Let's talk after this. Chu Yueshan blinked a few times as she couldn't understand Chu Yueli's intention but nodded. Okay. She also has to say something to Chu Yueli. Lord Shadow, what happened? I sensed such a tremendous power of the ocean earlier. Fu Zhong asked Yu Long. Yu Long waved his hand and explained dismissively, it's just another scum like Ares. Fu Zhong paled, so, you're saying that another expert invaded our world earlier? Yu Long chuckled, I wouldn't call Poseidon an expert, but Yueshan did kill him. Look at that ice block. Everyone quickly stared at the ice block near Chu Yueshan, and their eyes widened as they spotted a cleanly sliced man with a fish bottom half. The literal fear on Poseidon's face made them wonder what kind of beating Chu Yueshan did to him. Chu Yueshan felt their gaze next and was somewhat embarrassed. She wasn't that strong, to be honest. Chu Yueshan's possession of sword intent was crucial in her victory over Poseidon. Without it, she wouldn't have stood a chance. If they knew what Chu Yueshan was thinking, they would roll their eyes at being too humble. Yu Long, do you think there would be more invasion? Huan Ki asked Yu Long after some thoughts. Chu Yueshan, Chu Yueli and Ani furrowed their brows because Huan Ki called their master too intimately. Although Chu Yueli knew Yu Long and Huan Ki were formally engaged, wasn't this lady called Little Demon Empress too bold? Huan Ki is declaring her position as fiancée too boldly. Huan Ki obviously provoked Chu Yueli and Chu Yueshan, but she didn't care about their little lover's mindset. She was aiming for the big seat in the harem, if possible. Call her ambitious. However, Huan Ki saw a bright future in Yu Long and was charmed by his mysterious strength. Hearing Huan Ki's question, Yu Long nodded and answered, there will be more invasions in the future, without a doubt. But don't worry much. Most of the invasions are solvable. Heavenly Demon Cult will collaborate with the illusory demon realm. Our alliance will be directed to fend, if not, wipe the invasion from reaching Blue Pole Star. Huan Ki pondered before agreeing, very well. After this, I will summon the 12 guardian families and order them to do some preparations. She moved her gaze at Fu Zhong, knowing he was the second in order within the heavenly demon cult, and added, please take care of the illusory demon realm well. Given their current condition, the alliance is the best choice. Thankfully, Huan Ki has pushed the matter of getting engaged with Yu Long, or this won't happen. Yu Long clapped his hand, okay, let's prepare ourselves first. Then, everyone scattered and left Yu Long alone. Freya, what is the situation of the garden? Yu Long asked while staring at Poseidon's corpse. He used Kaiju Maker and read the information within the corpse, gaining more understanding of this invasion. Freya was tasked to find whether they could grow things in the illusory demon realm and had been locking herself on a faraway mountain, where she built the utopia of all plants. Yu Long's call was too sudden, but she was well prepared. Freya cleared her throat, Master, I've bred several rare plants in this mountain. Some might surprise you. There is this plant called 5-element peach and yin-yang mango that supports profound practitioner well. Some ordinary grasses also mutated and brimmed with vitality. The most noticeable ones are blue silver grass, blue golden grass, and beast veined grass. Yu Long's eyes lit up because these plants didn't exist in the profound sky continent and azure cloud continent. As expected, the illusory demon realm is such a fertile land. Wait, I will be there in a second. Yu Long destroyed the scum corpse and tore the space. He was ready to meet Freya. Freya was surprised. She looked at the mess of a mountain and hurriedly made it presentable for Yu Long. Meanwhile, Chu Yueli is dragging Chu Yueshan to the Earth Dragon Enclave, specifically her room. Their conversation will be a serious one this time. Chu Yueshan entered Chu Yueli's room and sat on her bed, you are doing well. Chu Yueli rolled her eyes, you don't have to ease the atmosphere like this. I know you didn't like to beat around the bush. Well. Chu Yueshan was helpless. Chu Yueli knew her well. Chu Yueli patted her forehead, sister, we should do this together, or we will get left behind. Do what together? Chu Yueshan was confused. Chu Yueli sighed, sometimes, I'm amazed by your ignorance. Tonight. We will make a move on master. Chu Yueshan's eyes widened in disbelief. Blush crept on her fair, snowy cheeks. That. It's too sudden, no. Chu Yueli grasped her sister's shoulders and said, will you do it? It is for your sake, too. Chu Yueshan gulped and nervously replied, I will do it. Who would have thought the valiant sword goddess had this shy side? Good. Chu Yueli smiled excitedly. Chapter 262, Garden of Eden. Yu Long arrived at the garden that Freya had built. His eyes widened a bit as the whole mountain was transformed into the Garden of Eden, back to the origin where all beautiful natures come together. In fact, this place looks untouched by external influence and has a unique aura of serenity. As Yu Long's eyes wandered to a steady running river with crystal clear water, he discovered a row of peach and mango trees. The peaches and mangoes are unique. The peach has unique five-colored skin, exuding endearing scents. Meanwhile, the mangoes are pale white on the top and glossy black at the bottom with an inviting, sweet scent. Yu Long also found the grasses that Freya mentioned, which radiated with a strong vitality. It seems Yu Long's decision to let Freya develop plants was correct. Of course, Yu Long also wouldn't undermine Freya's ability because he could not replicate her success easily. Master, you're here. Freya comes with a flushed expression. She arranged the garden the best she could hurriedly and hoped Yu Long liked it. She looked nervous and looked like her effort paid back. Good job. Yu Long smiled at Freya. I will reward you handsomely after this. Freya sighed in relief. Then, she quickly replied, no, master. Following your order is already a reward for me. There is no need to reward me further when you've granted me a second chance at life. Yu Long raised his brow and commented, you have become quite eloquent. Fran would have been brass about rewards. Freya was embarrassed because her conscience wouldn't allow her to be brass. She stared at Yu Long and diverted the topic, this, master, why do you smell fishy? It smells familiar, too. Yu Long looked at his palm and answered, well, I just met Poseidon and Ares. What? How come that scum of a being be here? Freya was shocked as people from her master's past life shouldn't be here. Yu Long shook his head helplessly and responded, after the accident, my death triggered many changes in the earth. As far as I know, someone or a faction could revive the deaths and send them across dimensions. Coincidentally, the dimension is Primal Chaos Dimension. Freya's eyes widened in disbelief, that. She fell into a deep thought because the dimensional fabrics wouldn't get weakened for no reason. She felt there was more to this farce. Yu Long saw Freya's expression and told everything he learned in the past few days, causing Freya to fall into another deep thought. Destroyers, Freya mumbled while tapping her lips. I don't think there are rumors about them in the upper realms, which means the invasion has yet to reach high-rank star realms. If so, the invaders must have abused the weak points across the Primal Chaos Dimension. Yu Long nodded, I thought so, too. Well, we shouldn't think too hard for now. Why don't you tell me the progress of the garden? Freya coughed awkwardly, ahem. Follow me, master. She led Yu Long into the garden and explained every plant she had grown in immaculate detail. She wanted him to have a perfect experience of the garden and understood how much effort she put in. And Yu Long did that exactly. He understood the effects of the five-element peach and yin-yang mango were perfect for building one's foundation. He even tried them, finding them delicious and suitable for his cultivation. Yu Long cultivated both yin-yang profound arts simultaneously, which required absolute balance. The yin-yang mango suited him well. As for the five-element peach, it possessed the pure essence of fire, water, earth, wood, and metal. The peach is good, but Yu Long preferred heavenly plants with pure wind and lightning elements. After all, Yu Long cultivated the art of lightning and thunder now and might as well start the art of wind alongside it. Freya smiled proudly, then, you're in luck, master. I've grown some specialty. She snapped her fingers, and the row of grasses opened, revealing a path to another side of the garden. Yu Long followed Freya in and sensed a strong electric current, rivaling the lightning tribulation that people summoned when they underwent breakthroughs. His eyes locked on a neat row of gleaming silver bamboo by a running water stream. This bamboo is native to the illusory demon realm. I think they call it the silver howling bamboo. Freya answered Yu Long's curiosity. Silver howling bamboo. Yu Long found the name fitting because every time the bamboo sways and hits each other, it creates an electric current that sounds like a howl of beasts. Freya nodded and continued, I've accelerated the silver howling bamboo's growth and found after the 10,000 year mark, it produces silver howling bamboo king. Silver howling bamboo king could call upon calamity of lightning and cause destruction. Of course, it also contained the purest lightning in this star realm. If it can produce a king, could it produce an emperor? Yulong threw a point, which made Freya ponder for a bit. It is possible, Freya answered positively. However, we must accelerate its growth to the 100,000 year mark. Can you do it? Yulong gazed at her. Freya was flustered and replied, well, I need your permission to access Kaiju Maker's energy, Master. You know that my power is naturally limited by your allowance. Then, as the reward earlier, I will increase the input by 20%. Yulong said casually. Freya hurriedly kneeled, thank you, Master. To Kaiju, Yulong's energy is like the nectar of God. It could increase their power by a mile and allow them to evolve. Freya obtained a limited portion of Yulong's energy directly and could only rely on the power of nature to support herself. Now that base input has increased by 20%, she's 4 times stronger than before. She felt Kaiju Maker's energy flow into her body and walked to the silver howling bamboo king, accelerating its growth with her innate ability to nurture plants. After a few seconds, one silver howling bamboo stood above the rest at the towering height of 300 meters. A faint mist covered its segmented body, and each leaf flickered with electricity. Minimize, Freya mumbled, and the giant bamboo condensed itself to 15 meters tall. Master, it's a success. Good. Yulong couldn't help but smile. Grow some more for me. Next, do you have anything with a pure wind element? Freya snapped her finger again, and the silver howling bamboo parted into 2 parts. By doing this, she reveals something that shocked Yulong. What was this flower doing here? Yulong was puzzled. A small flower was in his sight. It has a green stem and bright blue flower petals, swaying gently in the crowd of silver howling bamboo. Fanohana. Heavenly wind flower. Yulong put on a complicated look. Heavenly wind flower is a mutated plant from his previous life. This flower can control weather, especially wind, and create a protective barrier around a place. In fact, this flower has another name. It's called the human guardian flower because this small flower played a crucial role in protecting human settlements from mutated beast attacks many times. One flower. One flower is enough to protect a settlement for a year. No wonder this garden is hidden from external influences, and you can't feel Poseidon's aura despite him breaking into the plane of solitude. Freya, how come you have this flower seed? Yulong asked the kaiju. Freya shook her head bitterly and explained, I found heavenly wind flower by accident. I got stranded in the God realm of absolute beginning once and found the flower seed there. God realm of absolute beginning. Yulong mumbled to himself. It seems after Jasmine wakes up, I will visit the realm of God, too. Freya stared at the sentimental Yulong and said, Master, the heavenly wind flower produces 10 heavenly wind spores once a month. It contained a pure wind element that fit your requirement. Can you accelerate its growth and grow more heavenly wind flower, Freya? Yulong asked seriously. I can, but you must supply me with another Kaiju Maker's energy. Do it. Oh okay. After Freya accelerated the heavenly wind flower's growth, the spores spread and grew as 10 flower buds around the main one. Sure enough, the 10 flower buds grew into new heavenly wind flowers and thickened the protective barrier around the Garden of Eden. Done, Master. You can take 110 heavenly wind spores now. Yulong shook his head calmly and replied, I will only take 100 spores. Use the remaining to grow more heavenly wind spores and send them to the Earth Dragon Enclave. Heavenly Demon Cult will use the flower as strategic resources. We must spread the heavenly wind flowers all over our factions within a month or 2. Understood. Freya nodded in understanding. She was ready to grow more heavenly wind flowers. She was happy she could help Yulong this much. Chapter 264, There are ghosts in the Earth Dragon Enclave? Yulong woke up with softness on his body. He opened his eyes lazily and caught the Chu sisters hugging him tightly, pressing their well-endowed bodies on him. Despite having the body of a seductress, Chu Yueshan is very innocent and pure. On the other hand, Chu Yueli likes to act like a vixen and tempt him. They are sides of the same coin. Love is such a complicated thing. Yulong didn't understand it at first. However, slowly but surely, Yulong becomes attached to these women in his life. They are like brilliant colors in this world. They colored his pale world. They are his world. Yu Long wanted those colors to be on his side. He wanted to protect them, keeping them tight in his embrace forever. In fact, Yu Long's possessiveness and protectiveness over them is why he kept advancing. Those around Yu Long thought they were chasing him to be able to stand proud beside him. They didn't know, but he also wanted to be better for them. Given the state of this world, Yu Long wished nothing to be the strongest so he could treat them better. Was he the strongest? No, he can be stronger still. Chu Yueshan and Chu Yueli showed signs of awakening. Awake yet? Yu Long caressed their heads. Chu Yueli's eyes fluttered, blinking at him dotingly. Chu Yueshan slowly wakes up, too. Cuddle. She acted spoiled and cuddled him more. They don't want to be away from him. Yu Long smiled, well, let's cuddle for an hour or two. After that, they took a bath below the Earth Dragon Enclave and felt an improvement in their cultivation. Yu Long dipped himself in the hot spring, and Chu Yueshan hugged him from behind, giving him a cushion. Chu Yueli also massaged his stiff shoulders. Master, I've broken through to the divine origin realm. Chu Yueli said in awe. I didn't know dual cultivating is this miraculous. Chu Yueshan played with Yu Long's hair and added, yes, I felt my sword intent loosen slightly, too. I should be able to reach a higher stage soon. Yu Long chuckled, that's good to hear. As you two become stronger, I feel at ease about certain things. Also, you can call me by my name. I've taken you two, so I must be responsible. You can even call me husband or other endearing nicknames. He teased them. Chu Yueli flashed a cunning expression, then, I will call you husband privately. Chu Yueshan was in disbelief because of her sister. She collected her bravery and said, hubby. Yes, Yueshan. Yu Long pecked Chu Yueshan's cheek, making her blush like a maiden she was. Chu Yueli giggled because her sister took the bait like a champ. Husband, what about another round? After the breakthrough, I felt my body has more energy now. She winked at Yu Long. Me too. Chu Yueshan's eyes lit up. Yu Long gives them a playful smile, well, I hope you don't regret saying that. Then, they did the deeds. Several hours later, they exited the private hot spring. They had an afterglow on their faces, especially Chu Yueshan and Chu Yueli. Still, they walked awkwardly after getting out. Husband, too strong. Even our double team can't defeat him. Chu Yueli stared at Yu Long's broad back admiringly. I don't want it to end. Chu Yueshan sighed because she longed for more private time with Yu Long. But she knew they were busy with their own stuff. Yu Long carried a responsibility that was heavier than them. As they walked in the hallway, they met Xiao Lingzi and Yona. Teacher. They are looking for Chu Yueli. Of course, they also greeted Yu Long. Good morning, young master Yu/master. Xiao Lingzi and Yona bowed at Yu Long. Yu Long nodded and asked, are you looking for Yueli? Yes. 2x. Yona gazed at Chu Yueli and felt there was something new to her. Xiao Lingzi also noticed Chu Yueli's changes. She's shining. They thought simultaneously. It might just be their misfeeling, but Chu Yueli looks more beautiful than before. On top of that, she looked happier than ever. Chu Yueli gazed at them back, what are you looking at? And nothing. Xiao Lingzi swayed her head away, feeling nervous. Meanwhile, Yona deeply pondered as she felt at a loss. She glanced at Chu Yueshan and also noticed her changes. Master, did you hear a ghost screaming last night? Ghost screaming? Yona nodded and explained, last night, some people, including me, heard a ghost screaming in the Earth Dragon Enclave. That's true. People thought this place was actually haunted. Xiao Lingzi added solemnly. And the screams suddenly disappeared. Weirdly, the screams appeared again 2 hours ago. Yu Long, Chu Yueshan and Chu Yueli become stiff for a second. Chu Yueli calmly coughed, what are you rambling about? There is no ghost here. True, there is no such a thing. Chu Yueshan followed, having a slight redness in her cheeks. Oh my god, the ghost scream is definitely them moaning at the top of their lungs. How embarrassing. Yu Long wryly sighed inside. Sometimes, he forgets to add some arrays to mute things down. The sister combo literally caught him lacking. Chu Yueli grabbed Yona and Xiao Lingzi's hand, let's go. You are looking for me, no? Today, I will teach you about profound aspects. Then, Chu Yueli dragged them away to avoid further embarrassment. Hubby, I. Chu Yueshan covered her face with her hands. Yu Long shook his head gently, it's my fault. Don't worry, I don't dislike that side of yours, Yueshan. In fact, I found it adorable. Next time, let's be more careful. We made sure there were arrays ready to cover us. Yes. Chu Yueshan sheepishly agreed. Soon, screaming ghosts in the Earth Dragon Enclave rumors appeared in the heavenly demon cult. Some people know the truth, and some people don't. Yu Long and Chu Yueshan walked to the surface. They found Huan Ki and Fu Zhong negotiating about something. Huan Ki sensed Yu Long's presence and moved her gaze to him. There is a faint smile on her face. Oh, isn't this my dear fiancé? You look handsome as always. Yu Long cringed at her greeting. Stop playing around, little demon empress. Huan Ki's eyes glowed. Oh? I'm just complimenting you. Isn't that normal for people who got engaged with each other? Don't worry. I have no problem with you having countless women as I consider them lucky. She gave Chu Yueshan a knowing smile. Chu Yueshan put on a calm expression but couldn't hide the redness on her snowy cheek. After all, she was new to these bubbly feelings in her chest. Yu Long sat on the sofa and changed the topic. So, what are you two negotiating? Fu Zhong cleared his throat and replied, Little Demon Empress and I are negotiating about resource trade. We agreed to partner up and spread knowledge about the invasion to relevant factions in the continent. Yu Long hummed, Actually, I have something to add to this matter. What is it? Huan Ki raised her brow because it couldn't be an ordinary thing. Yu Long flipped his hand and showed them a heavenly wind spore, which looked like a puffed white-blue dandelion. This spore is called heavenly wind spore. When it entered the soil and grew up, it could become heavenly wind flower. Heavenly wind flower has the ability to control the weather, specifically wind, and form a barrier around a site or area, protecting it from many things. The barrier doesn't just protect the area physically as it has perks of shielding others from mental problems and attacks. Huan Ki, Fu Zhong, and Chu Yueshan were shocked. Such a miraculous flower. Yu Long looked at their shocked expression and continued, I have some heavenly wind spores in my hand, and I want to spread them over the illusory demon realm before the next invasion. Let's do it. Huan Ki said decisively. She could feel her heart burning in excitement. Huan Ki's decision to partner with the heavenly demon cult is on point. No, her decision to get engaged with Yu Long is the best decision she ever made. It's all thanks to that mysterious voice. Chapter 265, Heavenly Wind Protection Initiative. As the heavenly wind flower came onto the table and changed their plan for good, Huan Ki asked Yu Long about its details. She wanted to know whether it was viable for the heavenly wind flowers to produce more spores. Yu Long replied, yes, the heavenly wind flower could produce more spores. It can produce 10 spores in one cycle, but we need immense and pure life force. Huan Ki's eyes lit up, will the evergreen trees do? Yu Long stared at her and chuckled, yes. But none of us had enough dews to make it happen. Huan Ki possessed wind elemental spirit after absorbing evergreen trees' dews. She could nurture the heavenly wind flower, but it wouldn't be productive. After all, Huan Ki is only a single person. Yu Long also doesn't want to use more of Kaiju Maker's power. Thankfully, he had an alternative method. Huan Ki sighed, I guess the plan to spread this flower will pause for a while. Yu Long shook his head gently, no, not really. I was the one who proposed the plan. Of course, I have a way to do it. You do? Huan Ki was amazed. Yu Long nodded and replied, the answer is simple. It is the spirit gathering array. Lord Shadow, are you talking about that spirit gathering array formation? Fu Zhong asked in confusion. But that's just a basic formation array. Sometimes, the basics are always the best. It's not complicated and can lay a good foundation to build new things. Yu Long responded casually. He snapped his finger, and strings of pure white array runes appeared, connecting into a simplified spirit gathering array formation. Beautiful. Chu Yueshan, who had been very quiet, stared at the array formation, seeing it symmetrically shaped like a snowflake. The snowflake reminded her of days in the frozen cloud Asgard. Huan Ki stared at the array formation solemnly. Deep inside, she was shocked because Yu Long made the array with a snap of his finger. Every array formation Huan Ki knew in the Imperial City needed to make a lot of preparation. A lot of preparation. Yu Long ignored their stunned gaze and explained, Spirit Gathering Array Formation is the most basic formation, which means everyone can learn it quickly. It has two main functions, important functions. First, it could absorb the surrounding energy. Second, it could enhance the quality of surrounding energy. Of course, we must account for the energy consumption, but we can cut it off by using the dirty part of energy as fuel. Now, an ordinary spirit gathering array formation won't help us grow the heavenly wind flower nor produce the spores. However, if we modified the said array formation into this, the snowflake-like pattern cracked, but if one looks closely, those cracks are miniature-sized array runes. And those miniature-sized array runes changed the property of energy by twisting it slowly. Soon, the profound energy in the air turned into brimming vitality. Such a strong vitality! Huan Ki was speechless. How is this even possible? Because it's raw, not purified like the one in our body. Yu Long replied with confidence. What's the difference, Hu? I mean, Master. Chu Yueshan almost called Yu Long intimately but quickly fixed her mistake. Huan Ki frowned at her, and Fu Zhong chuckled on the side. Yu Long didn't mind Chu Yueshan's mistake, finding it adorable. He stared at the modified array formation and calmly explained, every living being has life force or vitality. We obtain it by the course of our life, eating food, exercise, etc. But those actions are actually the literal process of breaking vitality from outside and making it ours. Since we are humans, the process is very efficient as we could eat or inhale them into our body. However, other living beings have different methods. Flowers absorb the energy from the soil and photosynthesize, allowing them to purify raw vitality. Are you perhaps thinking of using the array formation to hasten the heavenly wind flower's growth? Huan Ki questioned while tapping her finger on the table. Yu Long nodded, exactly, but we need one more step. One more step. 3x. Yu Long stared at the modified array formation and bitterly added, the vitality released by this array formation is false vitality because I didn't fully integrate the energy of nature into it. We need strong catalysts with strong vitality, preferably a plant-based one that could form a symbiosis with heavenly wind flower. In Yu Long's previous life, people used a tree called small willow of life or underworld oak, which provided heavenly wind flower with nutrition while the latter protected them from danger. Unfortunately, there are no such trees in the blue pole star. Still, they could try finding an alternative. Fu Zhong stroked his beard solemnly and pulled a small object from his spatial storage. It was a sunflower seed. Lord Shadow, will this do? Huan Ki stared at the sunflower seed, golden sunflower seed. This thing is everywhere in the illusory demon realm with minimum sunlight. It was a wild pest that people sometimes used to snack on. Besides golden sunflower's tenacious ability to spread and slightly savory taste as snacks, I don't think there is something special about them. As far I know, that is. No, this might be our best option. Yu Long laughed in joy. Huan Ki couldn't understand Yu Long. Yu Long pointed at the golden sunflower seed and commented, you said it yourself. This sunflower has a tenacious ability to spread and is basically a wild pest. One golden sunflower alone couldn't generate enough vitality to support heavenly wind flower, but what if there are millions or billions of them? Imagine the whole plain of solitude becoming golden due to the golden sunflowers. Everyone was stunned. They finally realized the usefulness of golden sunflowers. According to Huan Ki, this thing grows everywhere in the illusory demon realm with minimum sunlight. A match made in heaven. Chu Yueshan couldn't help but mumble to herself. Huan Ki agreed with Chu Yueshan and glanced at Yu Long, I will order my people to spread golden sunflowers immediately. We should be able to grow them in 1 or 2 months. Is that good enough? For now, yes. Yu Long nodded in agreement. I will share the modified spirit gathering array formation with you. We should rename it, though. Everyone pondered, but Huan Ki instinctively mumbled as she stared at Yu Long's golden eyes, what about golden balance spirit formation? Good name. Fu Zhong said with a laugh. It is a good name. Chu Yueshan praised Huan Ki. Yu Long said with determination, it's decided then. We will name it Golden Balance Spirit Formation. I will polish the array formation, then give it to you. In the meantime, you should contact your subordinates. Understood. Huan Ki had the Demon Emperor's seal now. Her control over the illusory demon realm is unquestionable. Not even Duke Ming could mess with her now, especially with Yu Long around. She sighed in relief, we don't have to worry about common people's safety now. Heavenly Wind Flower. Heavenly Wind Protection Initiative. That should be the name of this project. With this, we are one step ahead to face the invasion. What should we do next? Visit the Imperial Demon City. Yulong uttered casually. Huan Ki instinctively nodded but was baffled after, yes, we should visit. Wait, you wanted to visit the Imperial Demon City? Is there a problem with it? Yulong gave her a faint smile. No, there is no problem. Huan Ki replied hurriedly. On the contrary, I'd like to escort you there. You sound nervous, little demon empress. I'm not. And you should call me Huan Ki or Ki. Hehe, that takes time. I'll stick to calling you little demon empress for now. Huan Ki felt sour inside, but she could do nothing about it. Yulong still acts defensive around her. But this journey is good. Huan Ki could be closer to Yulong. After that, Yulong went to the Demon Imperial City with Huan Ki.
Thanks for listening.